Good morning, everyone. It's Saturday. It's September 27 for. Welcome to Golden VCR. Thank you to Jacebook for showing everyone that the Prayer Bear and Stand Back alerts work everywhere, including before the stream begins and after the stream ends. Howdy, everybody. Hope you're having a good morning. It's time for Golden VCR. Let's do it. Go. Stand back and get ready for tapes. Good morning, folks. Happy birthday, Trill's dad. If y'all weren't here yesterday for Fitness Friday, there are some new alerts. I'm still working on the functionality here. It's pretty basic at the moment. You can either do a Prayer Bear or a Peter Gabriel by cheering 200 or 300 bits respectively with a message that includes at anywhere in the message in any form, either Prayer Bear or Stand Back.
It's gonna get dark soon.
Fitness Friday. I think maybe I haven't. Yeah, I didn't upload that yet. So I'm not sure if it will be content ID'd. But we did do Taibo with Billy Blanks yesterday, and it was really fun. Can I walk? I've been walking. Yeah, I've taken many walks lately, and I've been enjoying that. Bingo is live. Check the Discord if you want to participate in the bingo game that Jace has put together. I don't know that much about it. I don't know what the squares are, except I do know that here, I'll get a link. I do know that that me triggering alerts is potentially a square now. Discord invite copy. Poor Tape Boy. I know he needs better Discord integration. Okay. Do y'all want to... I figured we'd start out with some Saturday morning cartoons. Do y'all want to watch Baby Huey and Friends or Old Mother Hubbard? Look at her scolding that dog. Look at Baby Huey lifting old-timey dumbbells. Baby Huey has Parrotville Post Office, Quackadoodle-Doo, and Pest Pupil. Old Mother Hubbard has Laundress, The Kids in the Shoe, and Somewhere in Dreamland, which I assume is going to be a Kirby short. Which cartoon? Poll is up. Thank you. I have not sorted through the latest tapes. No, I need. I need to do that soon. I know there's also some stuff I will have to pick up from the post office soon, but I'm gonna have to like reorganize these shelves to fit them. Baby Huey or Old Mother Hubbard? Huey or Hubbard? Stop. I'm a deformed chicken. I love you. Give me the gun. No, not as much love for Old Mother Hubbard. Why is she scolding the dog? The dog didn't break that sideboard. It's clearly been broken for ages. It has spider webs on it. We don't need to. I mean, we already. I have 6 Focus on the Family That the World May Know lecture tapes sitting on my floor now. We have successfully purged those. Okay, thank you all for voting. It's going to be Baby Huey and Friends. Package design, copyright 1994. Unicorn video, approximately 30 minutes of cartoons. Look at that little stanker. Look at that really lazily packaged tape. Let me pull this up. I need to set up the stream deck that Bella Bunny graciously gave me a good price on and sold to me and sent in. Because this is such a pain. Such a pain. Well, I need to do that. I need to rotoscope Peter Gabriel train. So I might do one of those things. I might do one of those things during today's stream. We'll see. It's not like I built this whole website, right? And I can just load it in an OBS browser source, and it's great. But like, there's some really annoying things about interacting with an OBS browser source. Like, there's no back button. I have to like go through the list of sources and find it, and click on it, and click the interact button to pull it up, and then it's in this little window that doesn't have like a back button. So at some point, I also need to develop a custom OBS source as a plugin that just is specifically made to pull up tapes. Huey. Alt left? No. No, there is no. There is no. I could probably dig into the OBS source and submit a pull request to add browser navigation, because it's just like Chromium. Do people want to see that? Yeah, that's a good idea, Jace. That's a good call. Let's see. So we're about to watch Baby Huey and Friends Unicorn video. It's got 3 shorts. It's gonna really start off your Saturday right. But first, let me just show you what I've been working on, in case you didn't see it yesterday. Hey, Green Day Rock, thank you for gifting a sub to Brandon. So this is what I spent my a couple of days ago doing. Thank you, Bella Bunny. So you take the video, and then, like, this isn't, like, frame by frame. It's animated in between, but you really do have to, like, keyframe little by little. Like, this took several hours to do. And then you get a mask, and then you can make your Peter Gabriel alert from it. Oh, God, how do I stop this? All right. So that's the genesis. That's the genesis of the Peter Gabriel alert that we have now. So just Thank you. Welcome, Thomas. How are you doing? How's your Saturday going? Better now, I hope. I'm going to pop Baby Huey and Friends into the VCR now. But if you cheer 300 bits with a message that includes stand back, it will give us a Peter Gabriel. You can also use your golden VCR fun points if you have accumulated those through contributing tapes in the mail or subscribing. Hey, Green Day Rock, thank you. Thank you for gifting a sub to Thomas. Oh, we do have to have the horny Peter Gabriel chair. Baby Huey and Friends. Come on, no racism. No racism.
Good morning, Mrs. Perkins.
Good morning, Captain. Hiya, Cap.
Prediction is up for tape rewinding on the next one. Thank you, Bella.
Oh, Captain, do you mind taking care of the children for a little while?
I'd be delighted, Mrs. Perkins.
This is actually a better tape transfer than we've seen before,
Captain?
which might be surprising to you if you haven't seen our previous cartoon tapes. Oh yeah, thank you. I did fix the ghosts.
Stop it, hey!
There was a really, really stupid bug that I introduced, and I fixed it. Oh god, I spoke too soon about this being a good tape transfer.
Gosh, the mail train.
Yeah, it hasn't been transferred from film to film 1,000 times over, It just feels like a lot of the tapes we've seen before have been made from film prints from the 40s
Always on time.
that have just been sitting in an attic for a decade, for 40 years. Yeah, I mean, they probably were. What do they call that? Whatever? Kinescope?
$5,000 reward for the capture of the black parrot mail robber.
Some of these probably were legit, recorded by pointing a camera at an old TV. Because that's just the only way that you preserved television broadcast footage back in the day.
Warning, the black parrot mail robber headed your way.
Ghosts work. You have 4 points, Brett. Oh, that's right. You cheered. You cheered 4 bits.
Never get in this post office.
You have been rewarded handsomely. Enjoy it. Enjoy your 4 fun points. Oh, did Mail Robber get... Mail Robber got rejected, I think. Let me pull... I still don't have error messaging on this, so I have to pull up the log to see when things don't work. No, not that one. God.
Pick him up! Pick him up!
Oh, it did. Sorry, I'm just not paying attention.
Pick him up! 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 Pick him up!
Now you stick 'em up.
This robber is having such a good time with this.
Mark.
There's many a slip twixt the cup and the saucer.
Old cartoons. Yeah, I love watching old cartoons because they're actually, a lot of them are very funny. They were made, a lot of them were, when we grew up, cartoons were for kids. And they're aimed at, a lot of these are aimed at kids, but they're also aimed at a general audience because they were shown before movies.
Try again.
So they're just, but yeah, you do occasionally run into just random blackface. Unicorn Video did not give a shit about, objectionable content. I don't think they watched these before they put them on the tape and sold them. Oh, you saucy. Oh wait, that's. Oh wait, yeah, this is the one we wanted to watch. Sorry, I'm just waking up. It's Baby Huey. Yeah, I was confused because this isn't a Baby Huey cartoon.
Good work, kids. You captured the mail robber, and the $5,000 reward is yours.
$5,000? That's a lot of money. I love the idea of just mailing someone to prison. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Famous Studios. Music by Winston Sharples. Oh yeah. Quack-a-doodle-doo. Copyright 1949 by Paramount Pictures. I already don't like Baby Huey. So if anyone is curious, I updated the ghost command so that you no longer have to include the word of. It will still accept your
Oh,
your
dear.
ghost.
Children are so ducky. I'd love to.
But in the process of doing that, I made it so that if you submitted like ghost of a duck birth, it would submit that on the back end as ghost of a duck birth, which was not properly parsed by the code that parses alerts from messages, because I forgot to add a space. And I did not write tests for this code.
Girls, look!
So I added a space, and that's how I fixed the ghosts that were broken last week.
Sorry I'm late, Ma. When do we eat, huh?
Huey, my baby.
Oh no.
Ma, I'm hungry.
There's a 1949 laugh track in this?
I'm starving.
Come and get it! You're a glutton.
What a clock.
He's a pig, not a duck.
Huey's going swimming. Huey's going swimming.
Oh, but baby, you can't swim.
Now she tells me.
Oh. Oh.
Hiya, Mom.
He's a menace to the community. A bad influence on our children. He's just a bad egg.
He should have stood in his shell.
We've got to leave here immediately.
Good idea, Vagabond.
It's that awful fox! Huey, we're dead dogs.
Oh, it's like cat dog. That's much cuter. Pig duck.
I gotcha.
Help somebody! The fox is killing my child!
Oh, God. I'm sorry, I have to do it.
Oh,
gonna get
you want to play with me? Now I got you. Gosh.
He ripped his...
Let's play some more
Oh,
games.
boy. That was something.
Games? Yeah. Let's play hide and seek.
Ripped his face off. Oh.
Come on, wherever
pretty
you
great.
are.
So adding cute worked really well. What if I add terrifying? There's a drippy duck.
That must be the fox's
Oh.
footprints.
Yep. That's terrifying. Okay, hold on. Go.
Gee, he's hiding too good.
It does need to stand back. Here, let me fix this.
There you are. I win. You came for me this time. I know you're in there. I think you're trying to kill
Peter Gabriel
me.
is everywhere. Peter Gabriel is right behind you.
Genuine fox fur.
I love how these are all like very different. Oh no, it's also a baby Huey. But different. Oh no. I don't want more baby Huey. Ooh, lazily blacking out the copyright information. Thank you, Unicorn Films. Great stuff.
Good morning, teacher.
Good morning, teacher.
Good morning, teacher.
Good morning, teacher. I brought you a big fat apple. Hi, fellas. See joy, see joy.
Huey! Now you get off there this instant.
Yes, ma'am, teacher.
Oh, the first short was so good, and these are Baby Huey is just very, very lazy. Very lazy,
Huey has
cruel
been
humor.
expelled from kindergarten. He's a dope.
Did I get promoted, Ma?
No, but don't worry, dear. I'll get you a private tutor.
So, from you baby Huey, I make a genius. And now, Huey, school it commences already.
Be a good boy, Huey.
And now, baby Huey, attention, please. Arithmetic will be the first lesson he will tackle. Tackle? Oh boy, tackle! 15, 25, 14, 32, and 18. Tackle! Mr. Tudor, where are you? Get me out! Don't go away, Professor. I'll save you. Do I get promoted, Mr. Tudor? Name, you stupid dumb coffee. Look at the brains in the head. Oh, now the music lesson. Let me see you play fireman on the piano. Play fireman on the piano? Oh boy, I climb toot toot down for the fire engine. Here comes you, the fireman. Climb toot toot.
I love it when we get like Elden Ring back.
Somebody! Do I get promoted now, Mr. Tudor? Idiot! Don't stop stupid fooling around, but I try to teach you something. And now the next subject, it gives chemistry. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So watch closely. Stand back! Into 2 glasses.
Thank you, Haley92. Stand back and watch Saturday morning cartoons with us.
The experiment, we will test it. Here, I'll taste it. Nine. Test it, not taste it. That was delicious.
This is obviously like very, very open in the sense of its humor based on like let's abuse and mock this chicken with developmental disabilities. But it's also, I think, aside from that, just not that funny. It's just very, very basic slapstick. If you watch, you know, like a Bugs Bunny cartoon, that's like, there's like clever slapstick in there. But maybe it will be redeemed in the next 5 minutes.
I'll save you.
SNL has its moments. It's
Now do I get promoted, sir? Do I, sir? Now, sir? Now,
it
sir?
comes and goes. Sometimes it's good
Baby
for
Huey.
several years. Sometimes it's bad for several years.
Smart enough, but you saved my life. I give it to you, a diploma. Goody. Gee, thanks, sir. I'm so proud. Hey, Mom. Where should I hang my diploma?
Yay, cartoons. Thank you for watching cartoons. Oh, good. It's been 20 minutes. Approximately 30 minutes of cartoons. Yet more evidence that they did not watch these. Okay. Cool. Oh, yeah, I can plug in this Stream Deck, maybe. What do y'all want to watch? Now that we're finished with our cartoon segment. My idea was, let's see, where is it? Where is education? Very educational. My thought was like UFO crackpot tape. It is 90 minutes, but I'm down for that right now on a Saturday morning. Or we could do something else. We got tapes. We got tapes for days. Head on over to goldenvcr.com and you can take a look yourself. Let's see what's favorited too. Favorites. Unscreened. Agatha Christie. Reader's Digest, Great National Parks of the World, Lands of Enchantment, Australia to the Orient. How does this one have so many favorites? It's been in the collection for a long time. Baby Huey and Friends. Touring England, Rupert Mania, Richard Scarry, Crayola. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we'll... how do y'all feel about Alien? Nature. How long is Nature's Assassins? 50 minutes. Supreme Killers. Kill. Stalk. Prey. Okay, there's Snake, and then there is Lethal Weapons. Snake and Tiger. Okay, I'm gonna make a poll and see what tape we should do next. Crackpot UFO, Snake or Assassin Animal. Check it out. What do y'all want to see? It's from like the Crackpot tape is from like 82, I think. It's a pretty early one. Oh no. Snake. What a beautiful little scene. It's the real story about strange occurrences, the truth about UFOs. Some of the UFO tapes have like a, kind of like a, we don't know if it's real, you decide vibe, like that super hoaxy, faked Jonathan Frakes tape that we watch. This one just seems to be like, let me tell you the real truth. This really happened. But it did not win the poll. So, we're going to go get Snake or Tiger. Democracy works. Nature's Assassins, Supreme Killers, Kill, Stalk, Prey. Or Nature's Assassins, Lethal Weapons, Kill, Stalk, Prey. Snake or Tiger? I'm thinking Snake. We already did a poll. We did democracy, now let's do authoritarianism. I say it's Snake. Okay, Bella is starting a revolution. I capitulate. You can have your democracy. Just let me remain in power as a figurehead. Snake or tiger, get your votes in now. It's neck and neck, 50-50. Tiger's pulling ahead. Tiger's up by 1. Snake is caught up. Neck and neck again. Snake has pulled into the lead. Tiger is catching up. It's neck and neck. It's a tie. It's a tie. Tiger by 1. Tiger by 1. Snake has cinched it again. Snake pulled ahead. Snake by 1. Snake by 1. And it's a tie. It's a tie. Okay. Let me settle this. So we'll see if we get a snake or a tiger from this ghost. Damn it! You had one job. Hold on. If it's head, we'll do snake. If it's head, we'll do tiger. If it's tails, we'll do snake. Right? Head is tiger, because tigers have heads. Tails is snake, because snakes have tails. Ooh, solid snake. The singing shovel? Okay. Alright. This coin is on its side, so yeah. It's the eye of the tiger, it's the queen of the night, rising up with the challenge of our lovers. And the last known survivor sticks his head in the rice and is watching us now with the eye of the tiger. It's gonna be tiger. That's heads. Nature's Assassins, lethal weapon, tiger, kill. Let's see what we're getting into here. Tiger. Assass. Nature's Assassins, lethal weapons. Is it rewound? Yes! Spoilers, the snake tape wasn't rewound, so that makes it a very exciting prediction. Nature's Assassins, lethal weapons. Cross the fine line between man and beast with Nature's Assassins, a survival course on the art of attack, where stealth, camouflage, and ambush form a crucial link in the chain of life. Featuring previously unseen footage from some of the world's premier wildlife filmmakers, discover an animal kingdom in which raw power rules and sheer strategy separates the hunter from the hunted. Become a part of a world in which such silent killers as the tiger of northern India and the lethal leopard, as they communicate a message only the weak understand, hear the death rattle of a snake. Oh, we get snake too! Seconds before it strikes, look into the jaws of the Komodo dragon as it spews its poisonous revenge. God, this is dramatic. Experience the flight of the English barn owl as it targets its victims with the deadly precision based on pure animal instinct, while the Nile croc patiently awaits the... God, okay, fine, let's get into it. Nature's Assassins, lethal weapons. From Time Life Video and BBC Worldwide America. 1993. Yeah, it's probably a David Attenborough documentary with the David Attenborough voiceover removed and replaced with some American dude. Oh yes, this was contributed by the Bella Bunny. Thank you, Bella. Howdy, Toku. I love it when there's subtle dial tones at the beginning of the tape. Some sort of government secret code to activate the sleeper cell. Tigers change that, but I think that's a sensible default. All right. Let me use this button. Yeah. Nature's Assassins. Lethal Weapons. For your father's birthday drill. I will entertain suggestions. What music tape do you want to see? Nature's Assassins, Lethal Weapons. That was pretty good. Well, luckily, Trill's dad and Vagabond's grandmother both love UFOs, right? Let's see. Oh no! Hold on. I need on this scene that's not right. Let's move the overlay on top of the everything else. It is called an overlay for a reason. Here, let me redo that for you so we can. There we go. Excellent. Oh man, the Christian Family Films preview, hosted by John Tesh. I am excited to crack into that one at some point. Let's see. What were we looking for? Our music. Our music options are Richard Scarry's learning videos, Share Fitness, a bunch of kid songs. I have Richard Simmons in music for a couple of these. Gaither Gospel. Ralph Paul, Secrets to Playing Great Guitar Now. The New York Met. That's it. Hey, you can't cheat at bingo. We watched like 10 minutes of one of the Gaither tapes, and it was not as good as the bloopers. I mean, it was gospel music. It was good gospel music, but... you know, I want to be in the mood for gospel music when we watch gospel music. Okay, well, tell you what. I need to go take a short break. So I'm going to run ads and be back in a few minutes. And then we can do UFO tape. And if we wanna poll UFO tape, if we're like 30 minutes in and people are not feeling it, we can do that. But I think it's gonna be good. Okay, so if I press this button, haha, and then I press this button, oh my God, it's great. Amazing. This is so much better than pressing Control Shift page up and having it screw with things depending on what has focus in OBS. Okay. Thanks for sticking with us. I'll be right back in a few minutes. Oh my god, a bingo winner. Congrats. To Seemingly Jess. Bingo points. I have credited 1,000 golden VCR fun points to Seemingly Jess for winning the bingo game. I'm also going to give an additional 500 to Jacebook because I only gave him 500 initially because I was thinking I would cheap out and make the reward only 500 points, but I think 1,000 is fine. I was like, Jacebook rigged it, so I shouldn't give him the full points. But I have changed my mind. Thank you all for your patience. I have returned with a bowl of steel-cut oats with squinnamin and raisins. Great. Let's get tape. Oh, it's so nice that I have this Stream Deck and it just works. Let's see. UFO. The truth about UFOs and ETs. The real story about strange occurrences. Oh, I do need a mute button. I suppose I could sacrifice one of my 10 Peter Gabriel buttons to make a mute button. Be right back with this tape. The golden VCR. Bingo of Fame. What a beautiful display. The character limit on prompts, I don't remember specifically. I think I capped it at something like 128 or 200 or something like that. The peanut butter cup, yeah, people noticed last stream that it was gone. Brandon, I don't know if Brandon ate the peanut butter cup from my Lunchable from like broadcast 3 of Golden VCR. Oh, wait, that's the wrong command. I forgot. This is broadcast 38. It was a while ago that the Lunchable was eaten. But yeah, that peanut butter cup might have COVID, and it might have whatever we had at the start of Golden VCR. Okay, I've got the tape. UFOs and ETs. This film features accounts of otherworldly phenomena collected by Brad Steiger during his more than 25 years of exploration into the strange and the unknown. Narrated by Steiger, this film will explore UFOs, ETs, impossible fossils, the extraordinary link between UFOs and poltergeists, and the remarkable worldwide phenomenon of the Star People, men and women who appear to bear within their genetic makeup the seed of extraterrestrial visitors. Joining Steiger to explain Star People research will be his wife, Francie, an internationally known mystic and metaphysical teacher, co-author of the best-selling Star People series. Music by Stephen Halpern, special musical effects by Willard van de Bogart. Copyright 1982. Distributed by Good Times Video. Did you leave the peanut butter cup with us? This is the truth about UFOs and ETs. It's so old that the glue has fallen off. So we're going to see if this tape works. I do not see any mold, thankfully, and it is rewound. We're ready. Are you ready to meet Brad Steiger and his wife Francie? Let's get into it. Let's get out of Tiger and into Alien. Is Star People similar to Crystal Babies, or are those different things? Here we go. It is time to learn the truth about UFOs and ETs. This tape is from 1982, and it has an FBI warning. Welcome to my home. Are you ready to learn the truth? See you, Green Day. Good Times Home Video. I do have the Good Times Home Video logo, yeah. Okay, the title is different. Brad Steiger's Mystery of Time and Space. There was a really good Flash adventure game on the internet in like the early 2000s called Mystery of Time and Space. The truth about ... Yeah, the sound effects are perplexing to me too, but I love them. The truth about 60-second pause. UFOs and ETs. I got a good feeling about this.
Throughout the centuries, there have been many mysteries that have baffled the human mind. Reincarnation, ghosts, poltergeists, prophecy, extrasensory perception, healing.
Healing.
In this program, in our
The turn to camera 2.
we will explore the mystery of UFOs and extraterrestrial visitation. My name is Brad Steiger. I will serve as your guide to this mystery of time and space.
One of the basic questions that any thinking man or woman eventually asks is, are we alone in the universe? And people of our generation have not been the first to ask such a question of the mighty expanse of the heavens above us. Unfortunately, far too often, humankind has reflected its own negativism, hostility, and aggressiveness by portraying possible alien visitors as monsters from outer space, intent upon doing our planet great menace and harm. Recently, when a wave of mysterious cattle mutilations began to sweep the western United States, several investigators concluded that occupants from UFOs had to be responsible. When
Which
creatures
investigators,
such as
please?
Bigfoot are sighted, they are often linked to UFOs.
Are they?
If witnesses of UFO activity appear to suffer a certain peculiar kind of harassment,
Is that
some
just
researchers
Star Trek fan art?
immediately suggest that sinister entities from other worlds or dimensions may be involved. While there may be many facets of mystery involved in the UFO enigma, those ufologists who seriously investigate such phenomena have begun to suspect a much larger, more profound purpose to it all. Although the newspapers in 1897 were filled with accounts of a strange airship that had perplexed thousands of eyewitnesses in the United States
It
and
had a
overseas,
really good, like, jazzy soundtrack.
and although it is quite likely that the UFO phenomenon has been with us ever since we became human, It was not until June 24th, 1947, with Kenneth Arnold's sighting near Mount Rainier, Washington, that the UFO mystery was reborn in modern times. For nearly 40 years now, the controversy over the UFO, its purpose, its place of origin, and the true nature of its involvement with Earth has continued to rage. Do they come from outer space? Perhaps from a neighboring planet such as Mars, or from farther away such as Andromeda,
Such
or
as
the Pleiades.
Mars.
If the euphonauts are extraterrestrials, then it appears that they have had Earth under surveillance for centuries, and that they
Euphonauts?
have chosen to keep their principal activities secret for some undetermined reason. How long has Earth been under surveillance? This geo may hold a clue. On February 13,
Mars, the capital of British
1961,
Columbia.
3 rockhounds picked up a number of geodes in the Costco Mountains near Olancha, California. When they at last managed to saw a very stubborn geode in half, they found that it contained a perfectly circular section of hard ceramic with a 2-millimeter shaft of bright metal in its center. A trained geologist told them that the fossil incrustations on the outside were at least 500,000 years old. Whatever was on the inside of the nodule had to be a whole lot older. X-ray photos of the geode reveal an object definitely man-made. Sliced in two, we see a hexagonal metallic frame, a porcelain or ceramic insulator with a central metallic shaft. Elements, which some researchers have suggested are the basic components of a spark plug or some electronic device over 500,000 years old. Certain ufologists have insisted that the UFO occupants are actually members of terrestrial Air Force units
This is,
conducting top-secret military maneuvers with
This feels like it's going to be 90
classified
minutes
aerial
of this
vehicles.
man rambling. So I feel
In
like
the famous
I'll need
Socorro,
to
New
pay
Mexico
attention
sighting
to
by
stay engaged with it.
policeman Lonnie Zamora, the
And
euphonauts
follow what
gave
the
us
hell
a
he's
glimpse
talking
of
about.
an insignia on the side of their craft and drove the U.S. Air Force cryptographers crazy, trying to match it with a craft of the U.S. Navy, a foreign power, or some vast military-industrial complex. A closely related theory to the military secret hypothesis has the UFOs belonging to a
I
secret
turned the volume up a bit.
society of scientists, alchemists, who, centuries ago, developed an advanced technology which they have managed to keep hidden in underground or undersea cities. And that theory is only one step away from the hypothesis that suggests that both the UFOs and their occupants are nothing more than holographic projections or elaborate special effects that are being created by some unknown agency for some ulterior and as yet undetermined motive. A rather popular theory maintains that the euphonauts may be our descendants from the future, actually studying us by using our present, their past, as a living historical museum. Time travel postulates all sorts of problems in physics and logic, but if it could be advanced far enough, this theory might explain such enigmas as the following. These man tracks were found in situ with the tracks of the giant dinosaurs. We are told that the ancestors of humankind are no older than 3 or 4 million years, yet the great reptiles became extinct 80 million years ago.
I've never heard footprints referred to as
Dr.
man
Clifford
tracks.
Burdick has spent more than 30 years studying what appear to be human footprints in strata contemporaneous with dinosaur tracks. In
Dinosaur.
1975, Dr. Stanley Ryan of the University of New Mexico announced his discovery of human-like tracks in strata indicative of 40 million years old. Did time travelers from our future leave these tracks as they visited our mutual
His style of
past?
speaking is so weird.
Time
He
machines
puts
that we call
pauses.
UFOs? Or did that
in the
surveillance
strangest
of which
places.
we spoke earlier begin millions of years ago? A related hypothesis states that the UFO entities come not from some other physical world, but rather from an adjacent space-time continuum. In other words, the UFOs actually coexist with us on Earth, but on another vibrational level. Well, if the dimensions ever cross, and quite obviously they do, or we wouldn't see UFOs at all, maybe the other dimensions hypothesis explains such artifacts as this
Quite
beautifully
obviously.
wrought object that was discovered inside of solid pudding stone 15 feet below the surface near Dorchester, Massachusetts. The bell-shaped vessel is 4.5 inches high, 6.5 inches at the base, 2.5 inches at the top, and about 1/8 of an inch thick. The metallic composition is brass with zinc, iron, and lead. The inlay is pure silver. Since its discovery, some of the world's finest and most complete laboratories have run the vessel through every conceivable
This is
kind
a
of
great
test.
example
There is still
of
no answer
the school of
to
crackpot
its
bullshit.
period of historicity
The like school of thought where
or
you
its
just,
origin.
if you just keep
Certain
saying
ufologists have stated their beliefs
outlandish
that at least
shit
some UFOs
in-
may actually
and
be
meandering around to
unrecognized
various
life
different
forms
subjects
indigenous
constantly
to the
and like
upper reaches
never
of the Earth's
articulate a
atmosphere.
coherent
They may be
single
plasmic,
thesis,
electrical, nearly
then how
pure
can anyone
energy
argue with
forms
you?
which
'Cause
have
you're
the
just
ability
spewing
to assume a variety
a
of
diffuse
guises.
cloud of nonsense.
Others suggest that the UFOs may be something more on the order of ghosts rather than visitors from outer space. They have theorized that maybe our entire planet is haunted, so to speak, by some as yet unknown physical law that can at times activate or be activated by the unconscious mind. This law or energy might not itself be intelligent, but it would be able to absorb, reflect, and imitate human intelligence. For instance, this ghostly bulb snatcher appeared in a brand new home in Lake Tahoe. This picture is not a double exposure, and it clearly shows the image of a man steadying the
We don't need no
wagon wheel
citations where we're
chandelier
going.
and removing or unscrewing the light bulb. The proud owner of the new home had
Clearly
been
what that
perplexed
is.
by the light bulbs becoming loose in their sockets. It wasn't until this picture was developed that he learned the reason why. Now, you have to deal with this photograph in your own reality, of course. But some night when you're sitting up late, reading, and the wind is howling outside the window, the rain is hitting against the pane, and the light goes out beside you, remember this picture. A somewhat more profound theory suggests that the UFOs may be quasi-real objects manufactured by the human collective unconscious. Researcher John White views Jungian archetypes as energetic thought fields that are accessible through dreams, meditations, and other altered states of consciousness.
If you
White
just say the word,
theorizes that there
the
may
phrase
be larger,
Jungian archetypes, it will give you
previously
legitimacy.
unrecognized dimensions of physical events in which highly evolved entities exist on a grander paraphysical scale and influence and guide human affairs. It may be this grander paraphysical dimension that has been guiding men and
Zoom
women
in on
recently
breasts.
through such manifestations as materializations of the great mother image, which we have investigated in numerous instances. For example, is this image that of a spaceship or the Blessed Mother? Audiences are about equally divided in their appraisals. It was taken at the Florida Space
two
Center by
options.
Dr. Berthold Schwarz. More cynical researchers theorize that we are indeed being visited by
That's
extraterrestrials.
just Darth
But that they
Vader.
are tricksters who are deliberately misleading humankind in order to provide a cover for undisclosed activities on Earth.
I really
A
am
theory
unsure
that seems quite provocative holds that UFO manifestations
guy is
are the
trolling
result
or
of the
crazy.
magico machinations of elves, wee people, and other paraphysical entities that have coexisted with humankind as companion species and who appear to participate somehow with Homo sapiens in an evolutionary design. For centuries, it is true, the UFOs have been scorching clearings in the woods and leaving fairy circles.
Okay, so it's just
They've been doing
pagan
the same
folk
thing
traditions
in farmers'
repackaged.
pastures. In this
Now.
instance, the Iowa farmer who complained to us was upset because he thought the UFOs he saw nestling down in his pasture were somehow drawing electricity from the power lines, and he was afraid that he would get stuck with the bill. On July 1st, 1965, Maurice Massé, a farmer near Valençon, France, was rendered temporarily immobile until the strange elf-like trespassers in his field made their getaway. The ufonauts have been pulling this trick for years. Perhaps that's where we get the stories of the wee people and their magic wand. On a rainy night in July 1969, a glowing oval-shaped UFO settled down in Warren Barr's bean field in Iowa's Cedar River Valley. Teenagers Pat Barr and her visiting cousin Kathy Marr saw the object as they were preparing for bed. Barr discovered the 40-foot in diameter scorched circle the next morning when he was doing chores. The UFO researchers who investigated reports of an alien craft on a Florida beach found what may be the impression of a landing gear. Nearby were what appeared to be corrugated, dumbbell-shaped footprints. Both in UFO literature and in the cases which I have personally investigated, the most often reported ETs are described as being about 5 feet tall, large-headed, with oversized, strangely slanted eyes, sometimes with reptilian-type vertical pupils. The entities are usually said to be dressed in close-fitting, one-piece jumpsuits. Very often, the witnesses notice a winged serpent shoulder patch on the ufonauts' uniforms or observe such an object in a medallion or other insignia.
I saw an entity such as this
You had one job.
when I was 5 years old. It occurred in our Iowa farm. I was seated on the edge of the bed one October evening, and I heard the sound of someone dragging a wash tub over under the kitchen window. As I looked in that direction, I saw a smallish entity standing up on his tiptoes, peering in at my parents who were in the kitchen.
Cut to camera 2.
I watched the being for quite some time, feeling a kind of anticipation and awe. And then the watcher must have felt as though he was being watched. And then he turned to look at me, and we made eye-to-eye contact. I have never forgotten the moment when we looked at one another eye to eye at a distance of probably 7 to 8 feet. It seemed as though the entity's eyes began to get larger and larger and larger. And I became very tranquil, very much at peace, and then I knew nothing else until I awakened the next morning.
This is the way Patrolman Herb Shermer sketched the UFO occupants he encountered outside of Ashland, Nebraska.
This is Leprechaun
shortly
sketch
after midnight
quality.
On December 3rd, 1967. They were from 4.5 to 5.5 feet tall, Shermer told us. Their uniforms were silver gray, very shiny. Their suits came up around their heads like a pilot's cap. On the right side of their helmets, they had a small antenna just above where the ear would be. Their chests were bigger than ours. They were built very wiry and muscular. Their eyes were the one thing that I will never forget. The pupil went up and down like a slit.
Oh, Jesus.
When they looked at me, they stared straight into my eyes.
Why does pressing
Didn't
Control
blink.
Alt Shift Windows
It
key
was
numpad
real
7
uncomfortable. Their noses were
open up,
flat. Their mouths looked more like a slit than a regular
Microsoft
mouth.
365.com
Betty
twice
and Barney
in my
Hill were
browser?
returning to their home in New Hampshire from a vacation in Canada when they noticed a bright light in the night sky of September 19th, 1961. Confused and unable to explain his distress to his wife, Barney unexplainably drove off the main road to a side road where they found 5 humanoids blocking their path. Then, as if they had suddenly become marionettes under another's control, Betty and Barney Hill found themselves being taken
Oh,
to
the hill. I
UFO
remember learning about
by
the hills in
humanoids.
Carl
2
Sagan's
hours later,
Cosmos.
the Hills were returned to their automobile, at which time the humanoids told them that they would forget all about their abduction. The remarkable confrontation with an alien species would probably never have been brought to public
Okay, if I
attention
don't hold shift,
had it
then
not
I
been
can use
for
when I'm
two
dead.
factors.
Control
Both
Alt
Betty
Windows.
and Barney were troubled by bizarre, inexplicable dreams, and they had discovered an unaccountable 2-hour gap in their journey home from Canada.
Oh, that's so stupid. I hate the office key.
A common pattern for confrontations with ETs might be sketched out in the following way. 1. The witness observes a craft landing and beings emerging from its interior. 2. When the beings noticed him or her, the witness very often becomes panic-stricken and may even enter a state of shock. 3. As the entities approach the stunned person, the witness now experiences a state of tranquility. 4. The witness becomes aware of a process of communication, either telepathically or verbally, occurring between himself or herself and the euphonauts. 5. The beings return to the craft, occasionally after taking some object from or leaving some object with the witness. 6. The craft lifts off into the sky, whereupon the witness may lapse back into his or her former state of fear or confusion. Such a pattern as the one that I have described above has led me to speculate that the UFO entities may be able to transmit tranquility to the witness only when
Well, hey,
in
thank you,
close
Bella Renee,
range.
for gifting us up.
Perhaps the reason for this lies in vibrations or feelings that emanate from the euphonauts' auric bodies rather than a telepathically transmitted message of peacefulness.
This is just every crackpot theory crammed
On October
into...
17th, 1973, Jeff Greenhaw, police chief of Falkville, Alabama,
It's just like
responded to a call about a spacecraft with blinking lights.
Deus Ex.
Chief
but
Greenhaw
as a
was unable
crackpot
to
video.
locate the alien vehicle, but he did see a creature dressed in metallic spacesuit standing in the middle of the road. According to Greenhaw, I got out of my patrol car and said, "Howdy, stranger," but he didn't say a word. I reached back and got my camera and started taking pictures of him. The entity didn't seem to mind posing for the camera, but he ran away when Chief Greenhaw turned on the blue light atop his cruiser. Late in the afternoon on November 5th, 1975, 7 Forest Service workers were returning from woodcutting work in the White Mountains of northeastern Arizona when they spotted a large, glowing, oval UFO hovering over a clearing. 22-year-old Travis Walton did not hesitate to walk nearer for a careful inspection of the object. The tall young man was standing directly beneath
Hey,
the vehicle
Litigator,
when
thank
a
you
ray of
for
blue
gifting
light
us up to
beamed
Sasquatch.
down and struck him. The last thing the 6 young men in the truck saw before they floored the accelerator and fled the scene was the sight of Travis Walton spread-eagled at the end of a blue ray. There would be no more Travis Walton for 5 days until he called his brother Bruce from a telephone booth on the outskirts of Heber, 12 miles from the spot where he had
I love this, like, Squidbillies
one of the most
character
thoroughly researched
art
and
style
most
of all these
controversial
illustrations.
ET abduction cases in modern times was launched when Travis Walton told the press that he had been aboard a UFO all that time. The entities were about 5 feet tall, Walton declared. They had large golden eyes set beneath domed foreheads. Although he never saw their small, compressed mouths open, he was aware of communication from the entities through telepathy. In the late 1960s, I presented my hypothesis that the reason why the most frequently reported euphonauts resemble reptilian or amphibian humanoids may be because that is exactly what they are, highly evolved members of a serpentine or semi-aquatic species. A provocative theory is that the dinosaurs didn't really vanish, they evolved into a humanoid culture that eventually ran its course or was destroyed in an Atlantis-type catastrophe, perhaps just after they had begun exploring extraterrestrial frontiers. The UFO occupants seen today, then, may be the descendants of the survivors of that reptilian culture who are returning to monitor the present dominant species, Homo sapien sapiens, on the planet. Or as an alternate hypothesis, today's euphonauts may be a highly advanced reptilian humanoid culture from an extraterrestrial world. These serpent people would have evolved into the dominant species on their planet millions of years ago and would have become space explorers eons of Earth years ago. These same reptilian humanoids may have interacted in our world's evolution as genetic engineers, culture bearers, and silent observers of our resultant progress as a species. I have developed this hypothesis considerably for my book.
Oh
this
my
season,
God.
So I was delighted when I received word that
I want
Dale
this as a
Russell
poster on
and
my
Ron
wall.
Sequin of Canada's National Museum
Holy
of
shit.
Natural Sciences at Ottawa had fashioned a model of a humanoid dinosaur using Stenotchosaurus inequalis as their inspiration.
Dinosaur.
Stenotchosaurus, according to Russell, had a rather large brain and eyes with overlapping visual fields. The 90-pound dinosaur also walked on two legs, and it appears to have had a partially opposable thumb on its three-clawed
You can
hand.
buy a used copy of Brad Steiger's
result of such
The Seed
scientific
on
speculation
Amazon for $30.
was an astonishingly human-like creature that Russell
God.
terms a dinosauroid. The creature stands 4.5 feet tall, has a large
No, I'm not going to
domed
do it,
head,
and no one else should do it.
green skin, and yellow reptilian eyes. It should probably have had ears, Russell conceded, but the effect would have made it appear too human.
This is one of the rare occasions where I wish I wasn't doing
As
this
it is,
stream in the morning
The
so that I
dinosaur
could
man on display
drink.
at Canada's National Museum of Natural
Because
Sciences.
I don't know how else
Almost
I
exactly
can
fits
be
the
expected to
descriptions of
process what I'm
euphonauts
seeing.
provided by thousands of men and women throughout the planet who have reported their close encounters with ETs. In the summer of 1982, producer-director Steven Spielberg introduced theater audiences to an extraterrestrial entity who literally lives on the love energy and who is apparently a member of a species that has been monitoring our planet to check out the soil and the flora and fauna. E.T. is definitely in the amphibian reptilian
Oh
mold.
yeah, I've never
And the
seen
motion
E.T. I've just
picture
played
is
the
an
Atari
excellent
2600
device for
game.
teaching young people to respect intelligences
And I do
that
remember
may
you have to
appear
wander
very
around
different from them
measuring the
in
soil.
physical structure. My wife Francie was told several years ago that extraterrestrial intelligences would begin using our media to begin a program of positive conditioning to prepare Earth men and women for large-scale UFO landings. Steadily, the population of our planet would perceive an interaction with an alien species as a mutually profitable experience. Such positive propagandizing was necessary after the wars of the worlds, which frightened us so in the early science fiction dramas that were presented by radio, television, and motion pictures. If some researchers find links between the fairy folklore and the UFOs, then it is to be expected that about an equal number will make an association between the euphonauts and the angels, which are described by many religions as the messengers of God. The theory puts forth the concept that if these intelligences were concerned with the guidance and the salvation of early members of humankind, why should they not maintain such concern today? An entity such as this materialized to Francie when she was about 5 years old. He sang-talked to her of her mission in life.
Is that just Sarah Jessica Parker?
He identified himself in Earth terms as an angel. Francie remains in constant contact and communication with the entity, and she has since learned that his name is Kaif. Her contact with this being has proved to her that there is an intelligence external to humankind that cares about our spiritual evolution. UFO researcher Hayden Hughes arranged for Francie to be tested by science's most sophisticated new instrument for assessing the truth of anyone's claims, the Psychological Stress Evaluator, the PSE. Developed by two colonels in military security, the PSE detects any stress-related tremors in the involuntary muscles triggered by the subconscious mind. in every
Thank you.
instance tested. One of the nation's foremost
I believe
PSC
Francie.
analysts
Like, I believe that
declared
Francie
was telling the truth
believes
about her experiences with the multi-dimensional
the
beings
crazy shit she's
that
talking about.
interact with her.
That's not the issue here.
Surely the sons of God, who are referred to in the Bible, may have been checking in on this developing planet for hundreds of millions of Earth years, almost as if they were tending a garden. In 1971, amateur archaeologist Lynn Ottinger found traces of human remains in a stratum approximately 100 million years old. Remember, those species called human are far less than 1 million years old according to the official calendars.
I know it's been 30 minutes.
In the
I kind of want to
1930s,
see where this
Dr.
goes.
Wilbur Greeley Burroughs, head of the geology department, Berea College, Kentucky, found 10 complete humanoid tracks in Carboniferous sandstone. After an exhausting study of several years, he concluded that the tracks had been made by a bipedal creature that positioned its feet like that of a human, had a heel and 5 toes, walked exclusively on its hind legs, and wore size 7.5 double E shoes 250 million years ago. On June 1st, 1968, William Meister discovered what appears to be a fossilized human sandal print in a Cambrian limestone formation near Antelope Springs, Utah. Overall, the print is 10.5 inches, 3.5 inches wide at the sole, 3 inches at the heel. The sandal is well worn on the right heel. The heel is indented about 1/8 of an inch more than the sole, indicating a characteristic and natural distribution of weight. Look at the object that has been mashed by the heel. It is a trilobite.
I love the kilt and the great coat and the
fossil life
H.R.
form
Geiger
known to
alien
science.
head.
If this
That's
is
something.
truly a sandal print with a trilobite in its heel, found in Cambrian limestone of the Paleozoic era, it would have to be 500 million years old. Some investigators believe that the UFOs offer us yet another piece of evidence that at some level of the universe, we are all interconnected to each other and to other organisms and to other levels of consciousness in other worlds and in other dimensions. The existence of the UFO appears to prove that time, space, mass are not as confining as we have previously believed. The reality of the UFO seems to demonstrate that there are more dimensions than the physical time-space frame with which we are familiar. The truth of the UFO tells us once again that they are energies circulating on Earth and throughout the cosmos that, if properly balanced, can cause manifestations of great spiritual experiences and physical abilities. All physical
We've got to get to the
considerations
point where he
aside,
starts talking
the
more
UFO
about star
is providing contemporary humankind with a vital, living, mythological symbol.
Also,
which
my favorite
communicates
thing
directly
about
to the essential
people.
self,
The Stream Deck that I found is you can
bypassing the
change the
brain,
font that
evading
for the text that's
acculturation,
displayed on the icons.
and manipulating
But when you
historical
look at the font
conditions.
list, it's not your system fonts
The
because it's
UFO
just
may
the
serve
fonts that have been
humankind
flashed
as a
onto the device.
transformative symbol
And it's just
that will
Arial,
unite
Comic
our
Sans,
species
Courier,
as one
Courier New,
spiritual
Georgia
organism,
Impact,
functioning
Symbol,
through members
Tahoma,
who,
Trebuchet,
though
Verdana,
separate in
Webdings,
space,
Wingdings. It's
are
just
yet
like
one
the font list
in
from
being and belief.
Office 97. I love it.
But certainly the UFO is more than a symbol. It is physical enough to show up on radar, such as on this one that belongs to the Weather Bureau in
I
Wichita,
was just
Kansas.
changing it to Trebuchet.
Or on Air Force radar. Note the interesting grouped formation of the UFOs. Here we are a few minutes later, watching the squad of UFOs seemingly expanding and contracting. In this photograph, a UFO, in the upper right, visits our base at Guantanamo Bay in Cuba.
Oh, nothing
Here,
bad's ever happened there.
UFOs check in for an inspection of the Coast Guard facility at Salem, Massachusetts. This photograph was taken by a Coast Guardsman as he watched the UFOs through a screen door. 3 classic UFO shapes were taken September 26, 1960 in Italy. And a variety cluster was snapped over Sheffield, England on March 4th, 1962. Hard UFOs, that is, UFOs that give a solid or metallic appearance, have been reported all over the world.
Okay, cool. So that's default.
In this chart, artist Hal Crawford has drawn hypothetical models based upon thousands of UFO reports. There are flat-bottom or concave-bottom UFOs. There are discs, flattened spheres, ovals, teardrops, cigars, cubes, and crescents, to name a few. This general map indicating UFO density is based upon hundreds of reports dating back to the early 1800s. Consistently, year after year, UFO activity seems heaviest or lightest in the variously shaded areas. Electromagnetic cases are those instances in which a witness of UFO activity...
Wait, we learned from the Seattle tape, though, that UFOs love Seattle. They love to have fun in the Gateway.
This map also indicates where blackouts and brownouts of cities took place in which
I looked it up.
UFOs
we were not mishearing that it was called the Gateway.
Also included are cases
Seattle
in
World's
which
Fair.
animals seem affected by the overflight of UFOs. Electromagnetic activity has occurred in these areas in what would seem to be cyclical patterns. This map represents those areas in which UFOs have been seen touching down time and again.
I'm glad this man and his contemporaries are doing such rigorous scientific work.
Have been reported in every state. There appear to be specific areas which they favor in what seem to be cyclic patterns. Again, this map is based upon hundreds of sightings which date back to the early 1800s. Here is a world map of EM cases in shaded areas which we term strangeness places. These are regions in which humanoids, ghosts, strange creatures, and unexplained disappearances occur in what would seem to be cyclic manifestations. Over 20 years of research has led me to the conclusion that some external force or intelligence has interacted with humankind throughout history in an effort to learn more about us, or in an effort to communicate certain basic truths to our species. I am also convinced that there is a subtle kind of symbiotic relationship that exists between humankind and these intelligences. In some as yet not fully understood way, they need us as much as we need them. The UFO intelligences seem to have the ability to influence the human mind telepathically and may project what appear to be three-dimensional images to the percipients of UFO activity. The image seen may depend in large part upon the preconceptions, fears,
and aliens,
hopes which the witnesses may have about
they're angels, they're reptiles.
That is why some witnesses of UFO activity may identify the intelligence as an invader from outer space, or a bug-eyed monster, or a light being. It may actually be a matter of the witnesses' prejudice, their level of technological sophistication,
classic light being right there,
and their individual spiritual philosophy as to what form the UFO intelligence assumes. The really important thing to the UFOnauts may be that someone sees them and interacts with them on some level, either conscious or unconscious. In 1968, while conducting a worldwide study of psychically talented men and women in an effort to determine a pattern profile for those people
worldwide study pattern profile. The way he's pausing, it just sounds like he's putting things in finger quotes.
To serve as guides through the times of change and transition,
in 1968, in the course of a worldwide study.
These men and women appeared to be responding to some kind of timed release mechanism within them. It was as if DNA nuclei were literally exploding inside their psyches, reminding them of an extraterrestrial ancestry and a responsibility toward the people of this planet.
I hate it when this DNA nuclei in my psyche explode.
People, after the American Indian legends of those who came down from the stars to take unto themselves husbands and wives from the various tribes. Such accounts are recorded on petroglyphs and in the oral tradition of many Native American people. And I recognize the similarity of these tales to the verses in Genesis, which refer to the sons of God coming to the daughters of humankind and producing infants, which later became mighty men and women of great renown, giants in the earth. The pattern profile of the star people indicates an unusual visitation from a humanoid being, an angel, or a glowing white light around the Angel 5. Most of the star people have a lower than normal body temperature.
Lower than normal.
Extra or transitional vertebrae, chronic sinusitis, an unusual blood type, a hypersensitivity to light, sound, and
Does the
electromagnetic
Bible
vibration.
mention the angel's
A yearning
chronic
for a home
sinusitis?
not on earth, and a great conviction that now is the time to begin to prepare the planet for a metamorphosis into the future. When I met Francie, I not only discovered someone who fit nearly all of the many items on the pattern profile, but one who had isolated other elements which she could add to my list. Perhaps most importantly, she had maintained a close contact with the entity who had visited her when she was 5. And she could provide answers to my questions of why the ETs had visited our planet so long ago.
Francie, at this point in your research and your quest on planet Earth, do you believe that ETs visited this globe in prehistory and are still visiting this planet today?
Yes, I definitely do. I think it has been obvious with Sumer and all of the cultures that have been affected with Egypt. They all spoke of being visited by extraterrestrial beings.
How did these ETs appear in those days, do you believe?
I believe they contacted us in
This is a niche
lot of
reference, but
ways.
if anyone's
I think that
seen
they probably used mental telepathy in some,
on cinema,
since
at
many
the
were very
cinema.
advanced, and others were physically
This reminds me of
contacting
like
us.
the Dr. San episodes.
So many people say, you know, if the ETs are really there, why don't they contact people? Why don't they really come down and make themselves known? Yet you and many people such as yourself believe that you have made contact with ETs. Is that true?
Yes, we've made contact, I believe,
They're
with
sitting at odd
extraterrestrial
angles to
beings
each
that
other,
are
and
perhaps
he's just staring off into the
rather
camera
than
instead
the
of
physical beings. There have
looking
been a
at
few
her while
fortunate
he
people
speaks.
that have made physical contact that are known as the contactees. I have not been so fortunate. I would welcome such a contact, and I imagine many of us would, but they are not allowed to truly overtly affect our society
I thought she
in any
met
way
an
that would
angel.
really set us back. We cannot really
Is she
take that
not a
type of
contactee?
contact with an advanced culture.
Well, now, many people would welcome the kind of contact you have. Kaif gives practical information. I know he's even given phone numbers that we've needed from time to time. Who is Kaif, then?
Kaif is the masculine aspect of my higher self. We all have a feminine and a masculine aspect to our higher self.
Thank
or
you
our
for the
soul.
Peter Gabriel
And
cheer.
it is the guiding aspect. It is the aspect
I can't
that
stand back
actually
from this. I'm so
assists
transfixed
me
by
in
what I'm
many,
seeing.
many ways, as you well know. And the masculine aspect of everyone actually helps and guides them throughout their lives. We can meditate and make contact with this higher self, which is really a part of us. And in so doing, find out so many more things that aren't available to us out of books on Earth.
Now, when Kaif came to you when you were 5,
Right,
he told you he was an angel.
right.
Is he an angel in the sense that we think of as angels?
In the way that we know of angels, yes, without wings. He comes and goes very quickly. He is all about God. He gives messages that actually are of God, divine messages. And in that way, one could say he is very definitely angelic.
Now, are you special in having this contact, or is this available for other people?
Everyone can have this contact.
Oh, Reed.
By meditating,
Welcome
especially every day at a particular time is better. And by practicing
We
what
are
they
learning
tell you.
the truth about UFOs.
They
and
teach you of
ETs,
love, of loving all
1980s.
things unconditionally. Of
Now,
loving.
they, you mean these
Right.
angelic type
Right,
beings?
and they all speak of unconditional love. And to love all living things, because everything
It's
is
90
really a
minutes
part
of
of God. And
Brad Steiger.
they say things like, for
And his
instance,
wife
that you
rambling.
can't possibly say that you love God if you do not love all living things, because all living things are from God. So you have to practice this.
They do
in
seem
your
like
everyday
people who have
life.
done a
And
lot of
when
psychedelic
you
drugs
interact with all
without
types of living
first
things, with
ensuring
love,
that they are in a
you
sound
elevate your
mental state and
vibrations. You,
like
you reach a
have
higher
basic critical
vibration
thinking
within,
skills.
and when you meditate, then operating on that higher vibration, you can tune in and make contact very easily.
Now, let's go back to that contact that was made in Sumer, Egypt, probably even before that.
Right.
And that brings us to the research that we've been both so actively involved in for so many years, and that's the star people.
Right.
Now, in the research, as it developed, you began to channel or tune in on the different types of star people that we were discovering. At this point in the research, how do you define the different types or levels or degrees? I don't know what word I'm looking for here, but how would you define the types of star people at this point?
Well, there are two types of helpers on Earth, the seeds, and both are star people, but we call them the seeds and the helpers. And the seeds actually carry the genetic heritage of contact that was probably made thousands of years ago. And the helpers are earthlings that are merely highly evolutionized, so that they're tuned in to the same thing that the seeds are all about. They're tuned in to the higher consciousness, to God's plan in the universe. There's a divine plan going on, and whenever you make contact with your higher self, by going within, you actually become tuned in to the pattern of God, the purpose of God, the interacting with all things. And when you interact in such a way, you gather the vibrations of a higher nature, which is the whole purpose of being, which is the divine plan. And these star people are about spreading this, spreading the divine plan of God, so that we all fulfill our destiny.
Well, what now if someone comes to you and says, well, you know, I don't have an extra vertebrae, my blood pressure is kind of high, my body temperature is normal, I'm obviously not a seed, and I'm not certain if I'm a highly evolutionized earthling or not. Can I be a star person, or is this some exclusive club that only people who were born that way or have a special blessing can
All
join?
people can actually be star people, and that's what we're all about. We're trying to help everyone to reach a higher consciousness, to have a perspective of a holistic view of the world. The whole world is actually one human race, and we will all be as one when perhaps we reach a higher evolutionized type of standard of living, where all people join together and we share in the bounties of the earth, and we work together. It's perhaps a very beautiful picture that we are painting, but it is one that we can achieve and that we will achieve in the very near future, because we're going to have to achieve it. We're going to have to achieve it to survive. We're going to have to achieve it to be able to spread all of the food and all of the resources around to all of the people. Otherwise, we're going to actually disintegrate eventually if we don't. If we don't work towards evolutionizing towards God, we will lead to our own destruction.
Do you think when the ETs came here thousands of years ago that they had any particular plan in mind in regard to the planet? Now, you mentioned that people bear the seeds, bear the genetic heritage of these people. Now, we can assume that was done through genetic engineering, perhaps. The holy books speak of seeing the daughters of men and giants in the earth being born from that kind of union. Did they have a plan other than just propagating an extension of their own heritage, or do you think they had a broader plan than that?
They very definitely had a plan. Those that visited back then, because
I love the eyeballs at the top.
Beautiful legacy. They elevated the consciousness and the awareness of the people so that they might be able to attain all that God wished.
When you took the PSE test,
right,
that was a strenuous test. tested by a man in military security who developed the psychological stress evaluator. And in that test, you spoke of going to outer space, or going out into space.
Right.
And they indicated that you were telling the truth. Now, how would you explain to someone how you go to outer space? Do you get in a spaceship and do this? Or?
Well, you go to outer space when you go within. It's a multidimensional thing, but when you meditate and you go within yourself, it really is true that there is a temple within. You can attain this higher consciousness by going inside, and in so doing, you open up the entire universe to yourself. You actually feel that you are physically there because you're traveling spiritually. And it is the real you rather than the fleshly envelope that we occupy right now.
Ooh, fleshly
the real
envelope.
you, many times you can look back and see the physical shell. And this has been reported by so many people, it almost seems redundant to say, but you can spiritually travel beyond the stars and the planets into a beautiful space where you'll receive teachings and awarenesses that aren't available here.
Other people talk about going to outer space in UFOs after they've made contact. Do you think that kind of contact exists?
I think it's very possible, since all things are possible under God. I feel that it's the symbolism in many cases.
Set and setting, people. Set and setting.
Mind, which
Don't just
makes
do a bunch of
contact
drugs.
with the beyond quite easily. And our subconscious mind, which is in contact, sees things and speaks to us consciously in symbol language, so that when we are in contact with something from beyond, it will cause an image to project to our conscious mind, and it will be an image that we will consciously accept.
Brad Steiger was an American writer of fiction and nonfiction works
It's how it
on the
speaks to
paranormal,
us,
spirituality,
and it talks to us in
UFOs,
our
true
dreams.
crime,
So you
and
think these people who
biographies.
say they go on UFOs to outer space, you think that's more a dream experience or an out-of-body
His books sold well to the public, but were widely criticized by academics and skeptics for making far-fetched claims without scientific
contacting
evidence.
the subconscious mind and seeing all of these grand symbols and taking them literally. And I think in most cases it is that. There have been people that have made contact with extraterrestrial beings, and I believe them. Many of those beings are not the same ones.
He grew up
that,
Lutheran, but
came
then
a long
changed
time
his
ago
religious beliefs
that
after a near-death
actually
experience
aided
at
our
the age of
culture.
11.
These are, as I've been told, they are beings that
His
are
parents
merely
encouraged him
studying
to
us
become a teacher,
biologically.
so he went to Luther College in Iowa
And
and
as observing
taught high
us
school
then,
English
as
and
if
then
we were,
creative writing.
specimens
The
and-
same thing that we would do if we could go there. They're just ahead of us.
Or the same things we might do if we went to a place where certain rare animals might be. And
He claimed to have written his first book at age
Well,
7.
also, if we knew that they were warlike, which the Earth has shown throughout
He's
the centuries
written
as
over
being a very
170
warlike planet,
books, which
I
have
don't
sold
think
17
they would
million
wish to
copies,
overtly contact us,
including
and I think that they
biographies on
would,
Greta Garbo,
get
Judy
perhaps a
Garland, and
better
Rudy
picture of
Valentino.
us by, at random, as they have been doing, biologically studying us.
Right, people say, why don't they land on the White House lawn? Why don't they make
He believed
contact? Why don't
Atlantis
they
was a
go
real
right
place.
to the president and say, hey, we're here, we've been watching you, we've been studying you.
of
Knock
the
off
ancient
the
astronauts
dirty
idea.
business that is involved in so many levels of our Western world, of the Eastern world, of the entire planet. Just really get it together, Earth. Really clean up your act. Why don't you think that kind of contact has taken place?
Oh, I think for so many reasons, it would be a personal thought of my own, perhaps in that case. I believe that it would be very dangerous for them to do that because of the power structures that run this world, political power structures that run this world, would not want anyone to come and topple what they have claimed as their own.
That they would have such a superior technology, it would appear. Would they be threatened by any of our power structures?
No, they would not be. But our power structures would be, and I think that we would probably use weapons against them so as not to topple the economy as they wish it.
But could we even attempt to resist them?
Oh, they're definitely destructible.
Mm-hmm. So you feel then that they feel they should not interfere with our progress at this time?
I really, I wish that they could, or that they would, perhaps more overtly than they are. They're doing it the only way that they can at this time. They're entering into the psyches of our culture, and they're affecting us through our media, through our entertainment, through a lot of people think that it's their own idea, for instance, that it was a hunch they got and they created a play or a particular scene. But all of our creative abilities,
which I like to hear some selected book titles
by
of
higher
Brad Steiger's
intelligence
works.
and beyond. And I think that's perhaps the most thorough way of affecting a culture, rather than by shocking them or by overtly coming upon them and telling them how they should live.
Real ghosts,
It's by
restless
coming
spirits,
from
and haunted
within
places.
and
Real
changing
monsters,
the
gruesome
people from
critters,
within.
and beasts from the dark side.
They don't have to land
The
in the
Werewolf
White House
Book.
lawn and declare themselves. You're saying that they have made contact
Kahuna Magic.
with humans for centuries.
Right, and they are still
God.
doing this. They are still affecting us.
The people they've made contact with.
How Max Freedom Long rediscovered an ancient Hawaiian religion that delivers new insights into your hidden powers. Learn of your low self's innate control, how your middle self can receive telepathic messages, and how your high
Very
self can change the
definitely,
future.
I believe those people are
Train yourself
what
to
I
interpret
term
dreams, heal the
star
sick, or
people,
travel out of
people with
body.
star
These occult feats
consciousness.
defy the logic of our modern
Any
world.
person, any people that actually leads other human beings to higher awareness, that uses their energy, their electromagnetic energy within, and serves
God.
humanity with that energy.
The
within
UFO abduction
by
book,
reflecting
Alien
God in
Rapture,
what they
The
do.
Chosen,
All of those people,
Santa
and I think
miracles.
perhaps anyone
Real
could
vampires,
name as many
totems,
as I could. There have been
mysteries of
countless
time and
people that have
space,
affected our
real
culture
zombies, the living
by
dead, and creatures of the
channeling
apocalypse.
Their energies from God and reflecting
Conspiracies
God
and
in
secret
everyday
societies,
life. Moses,
strangers
Muhammad,
from the
Jesus,
skies,
Buddha,
Christmas miracles, four-legged
Buddha,
miracles,
Lords, Joan of Arc, all of
things
these
that go bump in
people,
the night,
Nikola
Atlantis
Tesla,
rising,
they've all made
horse
contact
miracles,
with the
puppy miracles, cat
They've all
miracles,
made contact with ET,
real nightmares, phantoms, apparitions, and ghosts, gods of Aquarius,
are more progressed than we are, and they've evolutionized to a higher
dog
state
miracles.
of being.
But they're physical.
They're physical.
As we
The
are.
wisdom,
And they
the wisdom teachings of
have
Archangel
become very
Michael.
aware of their multidimensional heritage, of their soul, of their higher self, of their purpose in being, of God. And therefore, they
What a
are
crazy
in
man.
the same vein as the multidimensional beings, or as our soul, or as God. So I feel like it is really a multi-dimensional educational system that's actually been perpetrated upon Earth for countless years now.
Do you think that the early humans in Earth's prehistory, when they were confronted by or confronted aliens, ETs, that they may have thought they were gods or angels? Is that what led to some of the legends and folklore?
It
perhaps,
must have
of our
been what
people?
it was because of their descriptions. Sumer described them as fishmen, and how they walked across the water from their star, and how they taught them language.
Peter Gabriel cannot save us.
Language, and the first word that man wrote in Sumer was star, and talked all about these star people that came from the star. So I think that all of the cultures spoke of this and thought of them in perhaps their own, just as we would today, in their own understanding, whether they called them angels or star people or whatever.
I think I might need to
their own
turn the
language.
volume down on Peter Gabriel.
Now,
a
many
little
people
bit.
fear and still fear a war of the worlds. Many people feel that if ETs, aliens, come from another world, that they are here to do us harm, to enslave us, to take our world away from us. Do you think there's any danger of that?
No, I really don't think that they would want it. So I don't feel there's any danger in them taking our world away. I feel that where they come from is far more advanced than our culture. I think they really just wish to aid us in raising our own awareness, and the only way that they can, because they're living their life and they must permit us to live ours and just try to help us along.
You feel then that they're guiding us, perhaps giving us examples rather than planning to interfere and pull us into the future against our will, so to speak?
Well, they're making us want to go into the future, those people that are aware enough to be able to walk towards the future. There are other people that, no, I don't quite know what you're asking.
Yeah, let's turn the question around a bit. Let's say, okay, let's turn the question around.
Okay.
What level do you think our population is at this time toward accepting alien contact? Let's say that the aliens did land. Let's say that the aliens approached a group of men and women in certain structures of our society and said, we are from another world, take us to your leader. How do you feel that the average person in the Western world, we'll limit it, would react to alien contact?
Well, I think after the Spielberg movies, a lot of people would probably be a lot more accepting of extraterrestrial contact. I feel that he has done a great deal to make us ready for this.
Do you feel then that people would be more accepting, or do you feel that there would still be those who would get their shotguns and try to drive the aliens back to whichever planet they may have come from?
Well, if you go into the backwoods of many places in the United States,
Well, so Brad
where one is an alien,
makes a big
even though
deal
they're
out of
a United States citizen,
Francie in
someone
this.
can still get their shotgun and chase you
On
away.
Wikipedia,
There's always
it doesn't
those
mention
people.
Francie, and it just
But do you
says
think the average technological
Let's see.
sophistication has risen enough
his
so
wife-
that there would be a more friendly approach?
he
on the
married
part of the
Sherry
average person,
Hansen,
a more aware approach toward an alien?
an author and
Yes,
minister,
I think
and was
so.
married
I
from
think more
1987
people
to
are
his death in
accepting
2018.
aliens and would interact with them in a friendly way.
Now, when you were a child and you
So
watched
Francie was just
some
a,
of the movies
a
that we
brief
saw
fling,
when
I
we were
guess, in the
kids,
early
The
80s.
Blob.
like the
The
Blob
Thing.
and the Thing and the carrot that ate Detroit and those kind
Right.
of things. What was your reaction toward that depiction of aliens?
I hated them. I hated those movies. I only went because I could at least see the first part of it, and I would cry inside because I thought it was such an unfair depiction, and it was always, I used to say, now how could that operate a ship?
Depiction.
It has no hands, you know, how could it even get here? It was always so absurd.
I
And
mean, the giant cockroaches
Right.
that landed in
Yeah,
I
the,
really
the
resented
well, the
it.
copyright date on the production is
Right.
1982, but the tape itself
Now,
says 89.
We've seen a
So, like,
a
this release was
change
from
in
89,
our-
but the footage,
in our
I think,
media
was filmed in
toward
82.
aliens. We've seen, you mentioned the Spielberg film, E.T.
This is Brad and Sherry's website
You
on
felt
Internet Archive.
some years ago that there was going to be a more positive attitude in the media. What do you feel has brought that about?
And this,
Right, I was told in the latter 50s, actually, that they were
This
coming
is Brad and
into
Sherry's,
our culture through the media, through television,
it's just like,
during the 60s.
I'm sorry, the background is not
and,
very conducive.
During the
Um,
60s is when it actually began, and I was
current
looking for it,
bradandsherry.com
and they told me that they would start affecting our children's
Is Brad and
programs
Sherry Gambling's Guide.
first,
Great casino
and
tips
that
for
they would,
Aussies.
As the children
And it just
grew
has a bunch,
older, be
like, one
affecting our
article that appears to have been written by an
adults' programs as
AI.
well, by entering into the minds of men and causing them to become
VIPs
more
that like to
aware, a
gamble.
more holistic approach.
These
to
celebrities had too
humanity.
much fun at the casino.
And you feel
Paris
that
Hilton evicted
they
from her
have
own casino.
actually
One
influenced
Direction,
the
far too young
minds
to
of-
gamble.
of certain
Past convictions to
producers
continue
and
to haunt
directors
rapper Lil
and
Wayne.
writers and
Conclusion.
Musicians?
Well, not, and let me make clear, not just the ETs, but the higher selves of the ETs and the higher selves of the human beings that are becoming more evolutionized, that tuned in to themselves, to their higher consciousness. That's really what's affecting it, not just extraterrestrial visitors.
Do you feel that someday the ETs will come in great arcs and land and take all the people who believe in them or all the nice people of Earth off the planet to another world?
I know we differ in this because we've discussed this a bit. That's the mental image, the symbol system and the symbol pictures that almost every one of the star people were really receiving that they're going to have a mass landing and we'll all be taken aboard the rescue ships and get off of this forsaken place.
Cult shit.
Well, I
We've made it to
understand
cult
that's a
shit.
symbol, but what does the symbol mean, do you think?
I think probably most of the star people hope that it's true. But if it isn't, then we're going to keep trying to make this planet a better place to live in and try and make it reflect God as much as possible and fulfill our destiny and our mission here. And in so doing, maybe we won't have to go somewhere else to find peace and love. It will actually be here on Earth.
And isn't that why they perhaps chose to intervene with us in the first place? To intervene in the very function of this planet is so that we could learn to accept the challenges of this Earth and to tend our own gardens so that we could become responsible members of a larger universe?
That sounds very good.
Prophets, teachers, and inspired men and women from all cultures have sought to enlighten humankind with the message that we can become more things than we can imagine. There are more processes which take place within us than we know. We are all multidimensional beings, and we have the ability to learn a psycho-spiritual discipline so that we can control a marvelous universal energy in order to achieve self-mastery and to work miracles. The Hindus named it prana, the Jews ruah, the Chinese chi, the Japanese ki, the Polynesians mana, the Christians the Holy Spirit. All people at one time or another have sensed an unknown force that underlies all paranormal phenomena and that permeates all life on Earth. The ability to control this energy exists in a dormant state in the psyche of every human being. Awareness is the key that unlocks the door to this limitless potential. In these remarkable photographs, we see Olaf Johnson, the psychic sensitive who participated with astronaut Ed Mitchell in the Moon to Earth ESP experiments during the flight of Apollo 14, demonstrating his control of the X-force under laboratory conditions. Together with other sensitives serving as batteries, Olaf levitates first a table, then a man. 6 cameras recorded the experiments on infrared film in the darkened parapsychological laboratory of Danish researcher Sven Turk. Olaf told me of his activating experience at the age of 5 when an intelligence from somewhere beyond the stars contacted him in his native Sweden. Olaf said, "It was they who began telling me about the universe and cosmic harmony. I felt that they were friends, that they wanted to teach me and to help me. I am still convinced that they are friendly and that they intend to help humans as much as they can without interfering in our own development and free will." Israeli sensitive Uri Geller is another who experienced
Uri Geller
as a child.
It's not a crackpot tape without Uri Geller.
The channel for an external intelligence. Here, Uri makes a fork bend merely by stroking it with thumb and forefinger. The dinner fork, verified as intact before the controlled demonstration, gradually became pliable at its neck and finally parted.
Clear evidence for aliens.
Bending dinner forks with the psyche has a very limited social application, but such demonstrations as those by Geller do inspire others to begin their own efforts to control the X-force in more meaningful applications. It should be pointed out here that a negative application of this unknown energy can express itself in those violent, chaotic manifestations which we label the poltergeist.
Oh, good.
Our
We're
friend
getting to
Komar was
poltergeists now.
activated through dream teachings as a child and has experienced ET contact as an adult. Komar channels the energy of his cosmic heritage by controlling pain through altered states of consciousness, then teaching others how to accomplish these mind-over-matter abilities. Komar can so demonstrate this facet of our star-seeded potential to the extent of walking on coals at temperatures as high as 1,500 degrees Fahrenheit, to the satisfaction of committees of medical doctors. Komar's pain control feats have earned him several listings in the Guinness Book of Records. When Dr. Norman Sheely of the Pain Rehabilitation Center, St. Francis Hospital across Wisconsin, examined Komar, he stated, quote, "It is obvious that Komar has the ability to distract his mind from going into at least an alpha state, and in it to have control over his autonomic nervous system. Komar uses this state of mind to prevent pain and body damage," end of quote. What Komar really seeks to accomplish in his public demonstrations is to shock people into realizing that they live their entire lives without using more than a small percentage of their full mental capacities.
Oh, boy.
He's challenging everyone that if he can utilize a portion of that dormant brain power,
Sorry, I'm
so can we.
slightly
Komar is
distracted
a
because I'm
master
working. I thought of a
demonstrating that the
new
conduit for the
tape boy
X-force,
command.
The mana, the prana, the key
I'm just
is the human
I'm just
psyche.
implementing it real quick.
Some researchers believe that a biological transformation is taking place in humankind at this time. Powerful energies are circulating that, if properly balanced, can create manifestations of great psychic experiences and physical abilities. Some men and women can interact with the X-force and use it to locate water, oil, precious metals, or lost persons. In these photographs, we watch as a dowser holds her familiar forked stick in the air, waiting for it to become energized. Next, the camera records not only a bright corona around the tip of the stick, but a comet-like ray beneath it that seems to be pulling the dowsing rod after
We're
it.
so close to being done with
Scientists
this.
have observed
It's
the
continuing to
X-force in the
evolve and it
operation
like
of
slowly
heat,
evolve in its
light,
craziness.
electricity,
So I'm still with it.
magnetism, and chemical reactions. It is, however, different from all of them. It fills all of space, penetrating and permeating everything.
Don't worry.
Denser materials appear to conduct it better and
I will
faster.
entertain you with a new
And metal refracts
chat
it.
command in just a moment.
Organic material absorbs it. This photograph represents a successful attempt to capture a man's aura on film. The aura is said to be that pattern of electromagnetic energy that surrounds all living things. The process known as Kirlian photography strives to provide yet another means of better defining humankind's multidimensional nature. At the same time, if certain colors in the aura can reflect changes in moods and in bodily health, then medical doctors will be equipped with yet another tool for treating emotional and physical disorders. Interestingly, the X-force appears to have its opposite number. The life-giving energy is seen as blue and gives a cool, pleasant feeling. The disintegrative energy is reddish and creates a feeling of heat and unpleasantness. In utilizing the X-force, the kahunas, high priests of the Polynesians, say that the energy flows from one object.
Oh, there's his
to
kahuna
another.
magic.
The mana, they say, is sticky. So an invisible stream of energy will always connect any two objects that have in any way been connected in the past. This is the basis of what is known as sympathetic magic. The interaction of the human psyche with the X-force is observable in several ways: as isolated pulsating points, as spiros, as a cloud-like substance, or as an aura surrounding the body. This remarkable photograph, not a double exposure, was taken during a meeting of the Psychic Research Training Center
I have to
at St. Louis, Missouri.
I have
Marine
to
Gardner,
restart
a
Tape
healer,
Boy real quick.
had as her goal the releasing of energy into a man who was sitting several feet in front of her. Although she sat quite still, a transparent arm, clearly not the man's, appears just to the
Okay,
left
let's see
of
if
his
this
own
works.
arm. Just to the left of his head can be seen an upturned face with mouth
I made
open
this
and
command.
eyes closed, superimposed over the
I made this
healer's
command for
physical
Bella
neck,
Bunny and
which
for
is
everyone
slumped
else.
forward. The physical and the non-physical, not
If you do
only
exclamation point BC,
interpenetrate
it
one
will tell
another,
you the capital of British
they
Columbia.
are each other.
Wait,
On
why
March
is shit?
29, 1964, psychical researcher Fay Clark conducted a number
Okay,
of experiments.
it just happened to
in aura
pick the same one
photography in
twice.
a darkened fallout shelter. The only source of light for the entire area came from a 1.5 watt argon bulb. On this particular evening, Clark had brought with him an ultrasound generator into the shelter. He moved the sound generator to various frequencies, and at one particular setting, a number of
This doesn't
dots
feel
of
very
light
random.
began to appear. They would group themselves in formation, and in some cases, grow larger. Some of them developed tails. At times, they appeared to be responding to his thoughts. Clark almost experienced the eerie feeling that the lights were somehow intelligent. Did Clark in some way summon UFO intelligences by striking a particular homing frequency that enabled
Okay,
them
it's
to
working.
enter our world and to interact with him on some level of consciousness?
Oh, we could have a mucus
And that's the
alert, couldn't
similarity
we?
Between Clark's fireflies
That one would
and
be
the
very
famous
expensive, don't
UFO
worry.
formation seen over Lubbock,
So
Texas.
that no one would ever use it.
And the group of UFOs which appeared over Washington, D.C. on February 4th, 1959, and set off a red alert.
Yes. Blobs
In the
of
late
white in a
1930s,
black and
a
white
French
photo.
psychical researcher claimed to have produced electrical ghost forms by directing light and sound vibrations into a variable and sensitive magnetic field.
The Corporation of the Village of Zabalos, of
Nature's
course.
way of scattering huge amounts of
These are all
electricity around
municipalities
is
in
usually
British
an
Columbia.
electrical storm with brilliant bolts of lightning.
I think it's a comprehensive list of
Traditionally,
every
we think
municipality in
of these
British
ghost-ridden
Columbia.
nights as being those occasions when thunder and lightning rumble and flash.
Eventually, you might get the real
Mediums
capital.
seem to favor holding seances on evenings when the air is heavy with electrical vibrations. Rather than eerie bits of folklore, we may have been witnessing the electrical connection in operation for centuries. UFOs are often reported hovering near high-tension power lines. Rather than their kidnapping our kilowatts, as some researchers have suggested, I think that it is likely that the electrical field near the power lines enables them to enter our reality and to become visible to witnesses' eyes. A number of UFO contactees have mentioned to me that just prior to the manifestation of the communicating ET, they were aware of a strange buzzing sound. Witnesses of aerial phenomena have also referred to a buzzing or rushing shortly before a UFO appeared over them. I am also reminded that a great deal of poltergeist activity produces a preparatory signal of a buzzing, rasping, or winding noise. Could it be possible that the human observers of such paranormal activity are hearing some dimension-hopping entity tuning in to our frequency before materializing in our space-time continuum? Could the sounds and lights which seem so mysterious to us be but simple electronic byproducts? And if these sounds and lights might somehow be channeled electronically, shouldn't it be possible for us to fashion a device to permit us to communicate with their dimension?
How is he going to wrap this
That
up?
fascinating question is quite probably yes. And that may be one of the giant steps toward which the ETs and other multidimensional intelligences may be leading us. They may even now be stimulating certain electronic geniuses among us to devote their energies to the fashioning of an instrument that might serve as a medium of communication between the different levels of frequency, vibration, or whatever, which separate us from the other intelligences in the greater reality.
These
It
are
seems
all
to me that
words.
throughout history,
Man,
the
these are all
UFO
words.
intelligences have often cast themselves in the role of teachers. But rather than instructing us through direct intervention, they seem to favor teaching by example. They have done this before by demonstrating the possibility of air flight, radio communication, television, and a host of other technological developments that humankind once considered impossible. At this moment in our scientific progression, the UFO intelligences may be demonstrating the possibility of dematerialization and rematerialization. Perhaps they are showing us that with a particular electronic device at our command, we would simply tune in to one another rather than only randomly catching each other unaware. If we may theorize that there is but one life force and a common collective unconscious for our species, then in the larger sense,
Yeah, I
any
feel that.
contact with multidimensional
Has it been
intelligences
5 minutes or 5
ETs
hours?
becomes part of the
Perhaps,
common
could it
experience of all
be
humankind.
that the invisible alien
There is
minefield
a new age
vibrating
dawning,
with the realms
and
of our
each of us
consciousness
must be prepared to
has
become
been
an
distorting
integral
the
part of it.
space-time continuum,
Man and
altering
woman
our
must
subjective
come
experience
together
of this
as
tape.
plus and minus, positive and negative, balancing their polarities, blending their energies, becoming as one in mission and purpose. For the evolutionary goal of 20th century humankind is the transcendence of our species. Right now, a child is being born, and it is emerging humankind. Our eyes and our ears are just beginning to open. Our nervous system is
Oh my God.
just beginning to coordinate.
That's pretty
But
good.
we fully realize that humankind is a transitional
I mean, that's
species.
clearly
Literally
California,
the
but
link
otherwise.
between the animal and the angel, we will be forced into the universe. With understanding, with love, we may progress out of our old physical limitations and rise into a higher realm that is ours by right of our cosmic inheritance. Through the spiritual catharsis of dreams, visions, and inspirations, together with the guidance of multidimensional beings and ETs, each man and each woman may attain starbirth into the universe.
That was a lot of crackpot schlock. Written and narrated by Brad Steiger. Music by Stephen Halpern. I did like the music, even if it got a little repetitive. It really fit the vibe of alien conspiracy theories, nonsensically rambled. Is that what British Columbia? I guess that, yeah, that is, okay. I don't know what British Columbia looks like. I saw the little, long peninsula and thought it was Baja California. A sports tape for Trill's dad. Hell yeah, let's do that. That seems like a great change of pace. No, we can't move on. What an odd way to zoom in on that title card. We haven't had a good sports tape in a while. I know there have been a lot of when I've peeked into the boxes that people have sent in, I've seen a lot of good-looking sports tapes in there. So the collection of sports tapes will be replenished soon too. Oh my God, good times home video. What the hell? Why did you do that to us? That was fascinating and wild and fun and strange. Thank you to West Coast Deb. This was a special one. Thank you to West Coast Deb for sending this one in. UFOs and ETs, we have learned the truth. The very meandering, unscientific truth. Oof. This was, so like we have also we have in addition to the truth about UFOs and ETs, we have like an actual legitimate scientifically based Nova documentary about UFOs. So I figured we could watch that as a companion piece on a future stream to sort of contrast with this. But yeah, I think it's sports time. I think I'm good for one more tape, and I think it should be sports tape. We do have, let's see, let's go to sports. The oldest sports tape in the collection is Le Long Jeu, featuring Carlo Blanchard. It is entirely French, but it's Canadian French, so the Canadians among us should be able to tell us what's going on. But does he hate the Quebecois? Who could hate the Quebecois? I like the Quebecois. They were very kind to me when I was in Quebec. All right. Let's look at sports and unscreened. No, unscreened. So we have French-Canadian golfer. We have the Tree Lounge Advantage, which is about how to sit in a tree to shoot deer. We have the Spirit of the Game, the etiquette program, the United States Golf Association. Royal Blue, a history of Duke basketball, drag racing 1993. The Smell of Success, also about deer hunting. The Corporation of the Township of Spalomcheen, capital of British Columbia. Great moments in basketball, history of Firestone racing. We got Wayne Gretzky's All-Star Hockey, the Natural Golf Swing System. We watched Alano's Time Has Come, Volume 1. Ken Venturi's Better Golf Now. Why is Read Music Today in sports? I really messed this one up, didn't I? Swimming. More deer hunting. Okay. So the one of all of these, the one I'm most excited to see is ESPN Sports Figures 7, Big Air Rules and How Sweet It Is. ESPN Sports Figures makes math and physics a ball. You can learn about projectile motion with snowboarding, and you can learn about vibrations with baseball. So how does that sound? He likes math and physics? All right. Because this seems like a good length to kind of cool us off from very long alien tape and let us move on with our days. Okay. So that's going to be tape number 299. This was sent in by the Slick Duke, and I'm looking forward to seeing it. Let's be right back. Also, God, I need a haircut. There's like a one-day window. It just happens immediately where my hair just gets too long and goes vroom. And then it takes me a week or more to schedule a haircut. Anyway, I'll be right back. Okay, hold on. This is $2.99. I quit when I used to, for the first like 250 tapes, I wrote a little label with the number, like the ID of each tape, and stuck it on the tape. But I quit doing that because it adds a lot of time to the process. So 299 is going to be, right before the Book of Virtues and right after the Aliens. Okay, that's up there. I'm just not seeing it. I'll be right back. Duh, obviously. Okay, all right. Here we go. ESPN Sports Figures makes math and physics a ball. This is apparently number 7, and it is rewound. Well, there's a little bit of tape on there, but I'm going to call this rewound. Let's get ourselves into the VCR. Yeah, that's rewound. And here we go. Big Air rules and how sweet it is. Welcome to the narrow world of sports.
This commercial-free presentation of Sports Figures is made possible by Microsoft.
Hey!
Where do you want to go today?
Seemingly Jess, thank you for the 1,000 bits. We will end with God's property then.
In the classroom. A service of the cable television
Oh, it's cable in the classroom.
and your local cable company.
Supported by Microsoft.
You're not going to need this for the next 30 minutes.
Sorry. Did I miss that? Oh, I did. Sorry. Sorry, Jace, I forgot. I totally missed it. It's in the list there. Thank you to JSbook for the 1,000 bits for God's property. If either of you wants to switch to a different
Let's go down to the bottom of the hill.
Flip.
Tina, have you ever pulled that trick before?
I've tried it many times, but I've never landed it until today.
What does that mean in terms of the Olympics?
I think anything could happen.
Tina, given your acceleration due to gravity is 32 feet per second squared and your...
Gosh, it's that Sports Figures guy. How does he even get a press pass?
Isn't it
Sure, all you have to do is use the equation.
3.8 meters per second.
Equals velocity 2 plus acceleration times time.
What are they even talking about? I don't know.
Come on, I'll tell you all about it.
Oh my god, this is so 90s. Velocity, ratio, specific, road, gravity.
Sports Figures.
Put your brain in the game.
This is so radical and in your face.
In the old days, people used to go down snow-covered mountains on 2 skis. It went a little something like this.
Dumbasses. Snowboarders are cool because we sit.
A snowboard when they want to hit the slopes. It looks a little something like this.
I don't have any like anti-snowboarder prejudice
was created in 1977.
like Haley and her skier family does.
Was off. Now, it's different
but it's a little ridiculous to claim that snowboarding is like the next step in the evolution of snow sports.
By leaning on your toe or leaning
as if it
back
improves on skiing in every way. It's just a different
with
thing.
With your left foot forward going downhill, or you can ride what we call goofy foot with your right foot forward going downhill.
Excellent. Happy birthday again to Trill's dad.
They're all different types of events really hot riders can compete in. There's the half pipe and staircasing and big hair and big air. You can see why they call it big air, because it's like they're floating on air, like they're flying. So how does big air work? How do they hang up in the air like that? What do a basketball player, a snowboarder, and a snowball have in common? They're all projectiles. In science, when something gets launched into the air and has no means of self-propulsion,
I've never
it's called a
snowboarded.
projectile.
But snowboarders like
Tina and Mike grab
do all
some
this
serious
leaning
big
backwards
air,
stuff, which is not what you
they're
want to do on skis.
projectiles. A guy with a jetpack is not. A projectile?
This is such like over the top 90s MTV editing.
This jump
For cool
launches
teens.
the snowboarder. Now, when we launch a projectile, it makes a path in the air. We call that path a trajectory. A trajectory is just a path.
Why is the camera so goddamn drunk?
Now, to take a look at why snowboarders seem to hang in the air, we have to look at the trajectory.
This just gives it
of a
more
projectile.
tude.
These guys behind me are totally excellent projectiles. They're Tina Bassich and Mike Bassich. Tina's a professional rider, and she took first place at the '95 Mount St. Anne World Cup Halfpipe and has been voted one of the top 3 women snowboarders by Trans World Snowboarding. Mike is a professional too, and he recently took 3rd at the U.S. Open Big Air competition in Stratton, Vermont. Today we are talking about big air, and that's what you guys get in competition. So how are these competitions judged?
Well, usually we have 2 out of 3 jumps, and we're going for height, and we're trying to do spinning tricks, flips, anything with the biggest difficulty, and always landing it.
Always landing. Okay, so the key is you want to be up in the air as long as possible because you can do more tricks, score more points, right?
Yep.
What do you do to make sure you get maximum air?
The best would be your speed going into the jump and your lift off the jump is the most important thing.
Okay, cool. Once you're up in the air, is there anything you can do to
Very
stay up in the air
fashionable ski
longer?
attire.
I would say once you leave the ground, you can't do anything until you land again.
All right, so what happens before the jump determines what hang time you get.
Right.
The thing about a projectile is once it's launched, it can no longer control its own flight. When a projectile is in flight, it comes under certain physical laws that are going to determine how far, how high, and how long it can stay in the air.
Hey, watch it up there.
Now, when we launch a projectile, whether it's a tennis ball or a snowboarder, it follows a very specific trajectory. Now, that path makes a shape, and we call that shape a parabola. A parabola is a beautiful.
I love this lady.
It isn't an arc. It's not a semicircle like a rainbow because it wouldn't make a full circle if we continued the line. And every parabola is different. It can look like this, or this, or this, but they're always parabolas. And remember, every time we launch a projectile, it makes a parabola. Gravity is what makes a parabola. Gravity is always pulling down. It's there all the time, right? 24/7. Every second of every day, gravity is pulling down. Whoa! Gravity. Whew. And gravity is always pulling down with the same force. Now, when we drop something, it accelerates, right? This tennis ball is stationary. When we drop it, it picks up speed. It accelerates. The higher I drop it from, the more speed it gets, the more it accelerates. The rate at which something drops is called the acceleration
was some
due to
Engineer
gravity.
Dave level
The
cinematography.
acceleration due to gravity is one of those physical constants. It's the same all the time, and we have a measurement for it. 32 feet per second per second.
32 feet per second just means
Who in
that
the hell
object
does
speeds
physics
up,
calculations in
accelerates by
feet?
32 feet per second every second it's in the air. If an object falls for 1 second, it will reach a speed of 32 feet per second.
The
If it
human
falls
eye
for
can't
2
see
seconds,
more than
it will reach
32
a speed of
FPS.
64 feet per second. And if it falls for 3 seconds, it would be falling at 96 feet per second.
96 feet per second is 65 miles per hour. 0 to 65 in 3 seconds is a lot of acceleration. Now, to make it easier to write and to say, acceleration due to gravity is usually referred to as 32 feet per second squared. The acceleration due to gravity is true for any object we drop, no matter how much it weighs. If it weren't for air resistance, this duck and this feather would drop at exactly the same rate. For our purposes today, we'll assume that air resistance isn't a factor. Of course it is, but let's pretend it isn't.
Not on the boat.
Okay, you guys, so I talked about goofy foot and regular foot. So how do I figure out what I am?
I can show you how to test it. You
Okay.
gotta stand like this.
All right.
And
All right.
I'm gonna push you.
Whoa.
Left foot forward, that means you're regular
I'm
foot.
a regular.
That's the foot that goes forward on
So
board.
I'm not goofy. All right. So we got this. We got goofy. We got regular. What other kind of terminology, snowboarding terminology, do we got here?
Shredding.
Shredding. Now, what is shredding exactly?
Shredding's more kind of just going out and riding the whole mountain, using the whole mountain with your buddies. And
Okay. Like we're gonna go out. Let's go out shredding.
Yeah.
Did I use it correctly?
So that's what happens when we drop something and it moves down. But how does the acceleration due to gravity affect
This
an
is
object that's
so
moving upward?
surprisingly light on educational content.
Right. A projectile, as it rises,
My
gets
God, the
pulled
camera.
down by gravity. Now, if the acceleration due to gravity is 32 feet per second squared, at what rate is gravity going to slow the object down?
32 feet per second squared.
Okay, let's try it.
If this snowball were launched at a speed of 96 feet per second, after 1 second, gravity would have slowed it by 32 feet per second to a speed of 64 feet per second. After 2 seconds, gravity would have slowed it another 32 feet per second. And after its third second, gravity would have slowed it by 96 feet per second. Okay, now if a snowball gets launched at 96 feet per second, and after 3 seconds in the air, gravity slows it down by 96 feet per second, at what speed is it traveling now?
0.
Right, and then what happens?
Well, it will stop going up and start going down at 32 feet per second squared.
Right, and we could draw a map of the snowball's trajectory like this. The trajectory of the snowball is a parabola, one that's almost straight up and straight down like this. After its speed reached 0, it would start to come back down, accelerating by 32 feet per second every second. The key to the shape of a parabola and the key to hang time in big air is up here at the top of the
Well,
parabola.
no, because
There's a period
gravity is
between
pulling
where
it straight
gravity
down on the
is
y-axis
just about to
constantly.
stop it, where it is stopped, and where it first starts to accelerate down, that a projectile is moving so little up or down that it's just about floating.
So, Mike, how come this jump doesn't go straight up?
if you had a jump going straight up at 90 degrees,
Oh, yeah, it wouldn't.
Pipe, and that'd send you straight up and straight.
If
back
it were
down.
shot straight up in a
Okay,
vacuum
all
with
right.
no
So,
wind
Tina, why
or
don't we
anything,
go
it
a
wouldn't
little
be
off
moving on
straight
the-
up, like say
it wouldn't be
80
moving
degrees?
laterally, yeah.
Wouldn't that give you the biggest air?
Well, you want a jump that puts you up and out. That's how you get the most air time. If it went straight up, you wouldn't get as much air.
That's not quite right.
Really?
No, actually, you get more hang time, bigger air, if the jump goes straight up.
For real?
For real.
When a boarder approaches the jump, they build up speed. What the jump does is convert that speed into vertical, up, and horizontal, out, components. If the jump went straight up, all of the boarder's speed would be converted to vertical speed, and they'd go the highest, and be in the air the longest. If the jump is less than 90 degrees, like this one, some of the vertical speed is going to be sacrificed for horizontal speed. You don't go as high or stay in the air as long, but you travel out farther.
But
I love
it really
quaternions.
feels like
They're
you
very
get
useful
more
in
hang
game
time on a
development
jump that puts you up and
3D
out.
animation in general.
Well, there's a reason for that.
Hucka Switch Rodeo, dude.
This is our Mike Bassich action figure. Now, when Mike takes a jump, he's traveling in two directions at once, up in a vertical motion and out in a horizontal motion. Gravity only affects the vertical motion. The horizontal motion isn't affected by gravity. Now, these two motions are independent of each other. They have absolutely nothing whatsoever to do with one another. Nothing. Not a bupkis. And we can prove it. Jennifer here has a tennis ball. If we time its drop, we get a half second. Now we'll have Doug drop a tennis ball while moving. Here he comes. Oh, and we still get a half second, even though the ball was traveling horizontally as it fell.
The second snowball dropped vertically and horizontally, but it still hit the ground in a half second.
What we've proved is that a horizontal motion doesn't keep you up in the air any longer.
The two motions are.
Oh, the presenter is Greg
Right.
Abbey,
So how come
who
it
was a
seems
voice
like you
actor
get
in
more
Yu-Gi-Oh?
airtime when you go
Wild.
up and out instead of just up?
Well, to figure that out, Tina, we'll have to analyze your parabola.
Okay.
When you leave the jump, you're traveling in two directions at once, right? Up with a vertical motion and out with a horizontal motion. The only force acting on the horizontal motion is air resistance, and it's so slight we'll ignore it. But the vertical motion is being acted on by gravity, and you can't ignore gravity. After the first second in the air, you'll be this high and have moved horizontally this far. Because you're being slowed by gravity, after 2 seconds in the air, you'll only be this high, but will have still traveled the same distance horizontally, putting you here. During the third second in the air, your vertical speed will be slowing to 0, but your horizontal motion hasn't changed at all. Now you reach the point in your jump where gravity has overcome the vertical motion. You're truly hanging there, but still moving horizontally.
It's gonna
Gradually,
get
gravity
dark
accelerates your descent like this.
Now check this out. This is what Mike and
Thank you,
Tina's
Jace.
trajectory would look like if they went off an almost vertical jump. And this is the trajectory off an angled jump. Now look at the difference here at the top of the parabolas. On the vertical jump, it goes to a very, very sharp peak. But here on the horizontal jump, it gets stretched out across the air. It's extended. It gives the illusion that Mike and Tina are traveling through the air without going up and down, like they're flying. This is what we call hang time.
See, it all has to do with the shape of your parabola. But for one instant, you said I was just floating there, not going up or down, right?
Well, yeah, just for a fraction of a second.
I live for that.
This guy here is Dan Malmstrom, and he designs jumpers. How do you decide the good angle to launch the jumpers?
Well, we look at two things. We look at the hill, the angle of the hill coming
Thank
down,
you.
and then
Green
the
Day.
angle
Thank
that we
you.
need to get the rider the air and distance that they need to be able to pull the tricks they want to do in the air.
Okay, so you take the jumper's trajectory into your equation. You work that in.
I have to
trajectory
assume
is
that
very
they like
important.
this is
That
a
is what
deliberate
determines how
style
far and
that the
how high
cameraman
they
is
go in the
doing.
air.
Like,
Okay, Dan,
give
is
it a
safe to
handheld
say that you
vibe.
know a thing or two about parabolas?
Oh yeah, you could say I know a little bit about parabolas.
There are parabolic trajectories in tons of sports. In fact, most sports involve parabolas. What's another name for some of the jumps you do? Anything? We got rodeo.
Jesus
hockey
Christ,
flip
that
is
angle.
a pipe trick.
Put the camera on the ground and
Whose name
very
is
far away and
Big
just
Hockey
act like a
Flip, he kinda
weird
invented the
voyeur.
trick. And it's kind of like a rodeo, but you're going backwards, fakie, and you do a flip with a 540 landing forward back into the half pipe.
What if someone does a really cool
I'm
jump?
curious
Do
to
you, like,
see
what
if
is
the
it?
next one, because there's
That
two
was
segments
sick.
on this tape.
Not like you
The next one is baseball, so I don't know if it's going to be
That was
have the
sick.
same like
Exactly.
Anything else?
You got it now.
extreme
That
for
was
teens
rad,
style.
but
Or
they didn't know.
That's a
Rad's
good
a little
start.
overrated.
I don't know if the whole
but-
series has that or if
That
they're
was
just doing
sick.
that
That
because
was sick.
snowboarding is an extreme sport.
Okay, guys, so what did we learn?
That gravity will pull down at 32 feet per second every second.
And that makes a shape called a parabola when you jump.
Very good.
And that when you jump, there's a vertical and horizontal force. And those two forces are independent of each other.
Whew, you guys are amazing. So to ride, you've got to understand parabolas. Besides, a parabola is such a cool thing, a shape made by gravity. So the next time you're checking out a sport, make sure to take a sec to check out the parabola. Well, I'd like to thank Tina and Mike Bassich.
Okay.
Dan Malmstrom of the Brighton Ski Center, and of course our students, Preston, Houston, Stacy, and Kristen, for helping us out today on ESPN2 Sports Figures Big Air Rules.
Thank you, ESPN. We're right on to baseball. And it's the contemporary Atlanta Braves with old-timey movie filters over it for some reason. What are we learning about here? Vibrations and standing waves. Thank you for breaking the silence, Jasper. What are we learning?
Hey, you ever notice that sometimes when you hit the ball, that vibrates like crazy and it hurts your hands? But sometimes it doesn't hurt at all. And the ball goes much further.
This is Jackie Maloof,
Why?
I don't know.
Canadian television host.
I know, but I'm not telling.
It's because of what is commonly called the sweet spot. That point on the bat where the ball just seems to fly off. It's right about here. Ladies and gentlemen, will you join me in welcoming to Sports Figures, the Atlanta Braves?
She co-hosted Hot Off the Grill with Bobby Flay. She started out as a stand-up comic.
So Chipper, what can you tell us about the sweet spot on a bat?
Well, it's about 3 inches of the bat right here, 3 or 4 inches right in the middle of the bat where when you hit it in those 3 or 4 inches, the ball really jumps off the bat well. You know, if you don't, then you know, the ball doesn't travel nearly as far.
It can hurt your hands, right?
Yeah, I mean, obviously when you hit the ball down here by the trademark or right here at the end, the bat breaks and you'll be feeling it for a couple innings.
Yeah. So why does one part of a bat work better than another?
Well, because it's the sweet spot.
Yeah, but why?
Well, I don't know. It's just the sweet spot.
So the question is,
Why does a baseball bat have a spot on it where hitting it makes it go farther? Why doesn't it hurt your hands?
And why do bats sometimes break and sometimes not?
the answer can be found in standing waves. That is a standing wave, but that's not what we're talking about. The kind of wave we're talking about is made by vibrations. When you hit a ball with a bat,
they have so little
bat
time left to
vibrates and sets up
explain
what we call a standing wave in the bat.
vibrations.
And we can take a look at what standing
They're
waves look
squandering it.
like with a simple demonstration. Okay, we have Yvonne, and we have Mary Pat, and we have a telephone cord. Yvonne shaking the cord sets up a simple vibration in the cord. One end's going up and down, the other end doesn't move at all. Simple, right? But if we speed up the vibrations, we get a bunch of messy, chaotic vibrations, right? But if we have Yvonne shake the cord even faster, just watch what happens. See? As the vibration increases, the chaos forms a nice orderly shape that looks like a wave, a standing wave. We call that a mode. Now, in order to have a mode, you need a node. What's a node? This is. For all the movement in the cord, there's one place where there's hardly any movement at all. We call that a node. So there are nodes and there are modes. You can remember no, duh, because there's no movement. No, duh. Now let's take a look at where these nodes occur. The first node is here at Mary Pat. There
This
has
is
to be
such
a
an
node
inefficient
there
way of
because she's
teaching high
holding
school
the cord.
students.
That's what we call a fixed point. Now the second node is about here, a little farther
This
way
is
down
some
the
real
court.
substitute teacher
Jackie,
material.
my arm is getting tired.
That's showbiz, kid. Now let's
Or
say I were to
severely underfunded school
like it
where
was a
the baseball
guitar.
coach is also teaching physics.
If I strike it at just some random point, then we get those crazy vibrations like we had before. But if I strike it at the node, we get a nice orderly mode, and the node won't vibrate. That's very important. You got it?
If we strike the node of a mode, that node will not vibrate.
Right.
Actually, at my high school,
The medium
I
that
had
the
several
vibrations
classes
are
that were taught
traveling
by
through now
coaches.
is the telephone cord.
The
But for
basketball
Chipper
coach
Jones,
and the
medium
baseball
is
coach and the
bat.
track coach.
Yes.
We're all pretty good teachers. The only guy that I didn't like was the football coach, who was a very old man, an old school football coach who only cared about football and did not want to be teaching
only because it's wood.
U.S. government.
Solid. The vibrations are so small that we can't see them, but we feel them.
Is that a normal thing at like public schools in well-funded districts to have
is where we hold the bat, just like Mary Pat holding
like
the
the
cord.
football coach also be your
If we could vibrate the bat the same
your
way we did the
economics
cord,
teacher?
we'd see another node form out here.
or is that just like a Catholic school thing
That
where they're making them
node
do
is the
double
sweet
duty?
spot. Remember what we said before?
I assume it's
If
normal
I
for high school
strike
coaches to
a
also
node,
teach.
that point
Right.
will not vibrate. No, duh. But if I strike at any other point other than the node,
Yeah.
we get those crazy vibrations.
Coaches got to teach.
When the ball hits away from the node, it causes lots of vibration in the bat like this, and your hands have to absorb all of that. When the ball hits at the node, it sets up an orderly vibration like this, and there's no vibration at
I would
the
assume
node
that like
where you hit
only
the
very
ball
rich
or at the node where
schools
you hold the bat.
can like hire full-time coaches that are just coaches.
Which is why your hands don't hurt.
Probably Hoover High
There's more
School.
to it than just not hurting your hands. You're wasting
which is where
energy.
was it Friday Night
when
Lights?
you make a bat vibrate like that, you take up a lot of energy. But when you
No.
hit the node, all that energy
was
goes
the
into the
Hoover
ball,
High School
sending
TV
it
show?
way further.
That's why balls hit away from the sweet spot.
Two-a-days.
Right, and
Two-a-days.
that's also why bats break, not because you're hitting them so hard.
Two-A-Days was an
because the
MTV reality
vibrations are
show
excessive and it's more
that
than the
follows the lives of teens at Hoover High School in Hoover, Alabama, focusing on the highly rated Hoover Buccaneers football team. I'm pretty sure Hoover
Why
had
the sweet spot works. How
money.
do we find it?
Well, I'll tell you. You take a ball and you can tap it along the end of a bat. And right here, you can feel some vibration in your hand.
Also, God, what a
Down to the
screwed
sweet
up
spot,
education
there's very
system.
little vibration, and the ball jumps off really easy.
They're like a public school is
Dan, you
letting
also feel
MTV film a reality show at the school for money.
You know, we can also find it by using a mathematical formula. Where the node appears is the function of the medium, the frequency of the waves, and the distance from the fixed point.
But it's easier to do it this way.
Yeah, but what happens if you have to find a node on someplace else, like an airplane wing? Ooh.
What was that formula again?
And finally, there's aluminum bats.
I think educational content like this is better when the people
further when you
presenting it
choose one?
are also the people like who understand the material and care about it,
The aluminum bat sends the ball further for a couple
instead
of
of just
reasons.
people reading a
But the
script.
biggest one is that it's stiffer than wood, so it doesn't vibrate as much, so more energy goes into the ball, so the ball goes further. Watch this. Of course, you have to hit the ball first. I'd like to thank the Atlanta Braves
Yeah,
organization,
I saw.
Chipper Jones,
I went to some Braves games
Jason Schmidt,
as a kid and saw Chipper.
Thurman Brooks, Savalas, our students, Mary Pat, Yvonne, John, all students, Jason, and the University of Georgia, Tony Cushenberry. And of course, let's thank Mom for helping us out today with How Sweet It Is.
You can have this back now. Thanks for watching. Go! It's over.
We'd like to thank all the sports figures who participated in today's show free of charge. ESPN Sports Figures is presented commercial-free for educators to tape and use in the classroom. To order free teacher's curriculum, call ESPN at 860-585-2000.
So I guess this aired at
or
5
access it
a.m. on
the
ESPN.
web At
for cable on the
ESPNnet.sportszone.com.
as mandated
Do you
by
or your class have
federal
a
law.
question you'd like to see explored on sports figures? Drop us a note at Sports Figures,
And then they also
ESPN
released
Plaza, Bristol, Connecticut, or the email address on your screen. ESPN Sports Figures. Put your brain in the game.
God.
The preceding program is part of Cable in the Classroom,
That was
a
intense.
service of the cable television industry and your local cable company.
That was actually way too.
This commercial-free presentation of Sports Figures was made possible by Microsoft. Where do you want to go today?
What have we learned? We got a couple of songs to play. For let's see, was it? Yeah, seemingly Jess and Jace Book both requested God's Property. Sorry, I did not acknowledge the Jace Book God's Property earlier. So if either of you would like to change your song, please tell me now. If you really want to watch God's Property back to back, we can do it. But maybe you want to hear something different. Maybe one of those Brazilian drum set songs, or maybe Peter Gabriel. Double God's Property. Okay. Cool. What have we learned today? Do you want God's Property? Okay, give me... Yeah. Let's see. Jess, if you want, we can play God's Property normal, and then for yours, your second one, the one that you requested, you can give me an angle of rotation and or an axis on which to mirror it so that it will be special and unique. God, okay, we've learned so much. We watched Baby Huey cartoons. I did not expect Nature's Assassins Lethal Weapons to be the most chill and relaxing tape that we watched today, but it absolutely was. And then we got Crackpot Time and Radical 90s Attitude Sports Time. Yeah, Nature's Ass was very good. All right, Jess. All right. This has been fun. Thank you, everyone, for joining me today. Let's get into some music. And I should be back, I believe. Let me check my calendar. I should be back at 11. I'm sorry, 10. 10 a.m. Eastern on Monday for another Golden VCR stream. Let's see. Remix. No, I do not want to loop God's Property. I want to just add it twice. Oh, you...
Well, it's gonna get dark soon.
OBS, thank you. I don't know why you need to freeze every time I do this. Okay. Are you ready? All right.
What you saying now?
Give it up one time for your holy man. Everybody in the streets out in your Jeeps.
What you saying now?
Booyaka, booyaka.
What you saying now? All the young people driving down the street in their Jeeps. I want you to pump this up real loud so the neighbor can hear you. So give me one time for your holy man. Stand I wonder if I get all the young people everywhere, from the East Coast to the West Coast. Lift your hands in the air and raise them like you just don't care. Can I get you in LA and Miami too? New York City and Dallas, Texas too. Come on and lift those hands and praise him. I feel a Holy Ghost thing happening. Ain't nobody mad but the devil. Come on, up! Never, 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 never gonna let you down, Jesus.
La-di-da. And yo, sounds like a party. Should've known it was Kirk God's Pride. So wave your hands like you don't care. Up above my head, I hear music in the air. Yeah, right. You know we keep it tight. You're the only one that makes me dance all night. That's right. And it's your joy that's got me lifted. My life is in your hands, and so I guess you got me twisted.
Yeah. I really love you, really love you. Can I take it in? Ready? Watch this. I ain't crazy, I just really love Jesus. Come on. I feel a hand clap coming on. Excuse me. I feel a stomp coming on. Excuse me.
I feel a praise coming on.
I
That's
feel a
what
shout
I
coming on. Excuse me.
feel. Definitely feeling a praise coming on.
Can I say one more time? Come on, one more time for your man. What's this? Stand back. Do you really love me like that?
I feel a stand back coming on.
Thank you, Jess. I feel a praise coming on.
What did I tell you? There's a praise coming on.
You ain't got to go to the club to have a good time. You can have a good time with your holy mind. Come on, say it. You can
Thank you to Jay Swook for the supporting the channel with 1,000 bits. And thank you also to Seemingly Jess.
It's gonna get dark soon.
I do not have a Kirk Franklin alert, but I can simulate one
What you say now?
if I just do
What you
this.
say now? All the young people driving down the street in their Jeeps. I want you to pump this up real loud so the neighbor can hear you. So it can be one time for your holy mind. Here we go. If I can get all the young people everywhere, from the East Coast to the West Coast, I lift your hands in the air and raise them like you just don't care. Can I get you in LA and Miami too? New York City and Dallas, Texas too. Come on, lift those hands and praise him. I feel a Holy Ghost thing happening. Ain't nobody mad but the devil. Come on, Never, 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 never gonna let you down, Jesus.
And yo, sounds like a party. Should've known it was Kirk and God's pride. So wave your hands like you don't care. Up above my head, I hear music in the air. Yeah, right. You know we keep it tight.
I'm so disappointed. Wait, how do you? Can you do a non-proportional transform? Where you can crop with alt. Yes.
I really love you, really love you. Can I take it in? Ready? Watch this. I ain't crazy, I just really love Jesus. Come on. I feel a hand clap coming on. Excuse me. I feel a stomp coming on. Excuse me. I feel a shout coming on. Excuse me. Can I say one more time? Come on, one more time for your life. What's this? Do you really love him out there? Put your gun down. Come on and praise him with me. I feel a praise coming on. You ain't got to go to the club to have a good time. You can have a good time with your holy mind. Come on.
I lost him off screen.
Cause you know that devil is a liar 2 times. And I know that Jesus is the Messiah 3 times. What you say now? Booyaka, 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 woo! Bob your head now. Bob your head now. Bob your head now.
It's gonna get
I
dark
feel a shout coming on. Excuse me. Here I go. Stand back. Stand back. Stand back. Stand back.
Sorry, this was a lot of work. That's why I keep showing it. Just in case. Just so that people who might have missed it the first time can see the pure blood, sweat, and tears that went into Peter Gabriel in creating him for you, which I did. And I did willingly and gladly. Thank you to everybody for being here. I managed to get the stream deck set up. Oh, there's a Jepson. Thank you for that. I will absolutely rate Josh Jepson, and you all should go watch him. Did we have a raid message then? Josh Jep. The seed. The seed is good. I like the seed. Star seed. Okay, well, thanks everyone for joining today and watching these crazy tapes with us. Thank you to everyone who's sent in tapes. Thank you to everyone who's cheering for Peter Gabriel and participating by using your fun points. Oh, he's not live yet? Soon, he says, soon. Well, I actually am curious to look one more time over the tapes that we have. Because I've never heard of Threads. It looks interesting. It's like CG animated Christian children's cartoon. We have this other Babysitters Club tape, which is like a clip show. We have we do need Prayer Bear 3. That's kind of essential viewing at this point. We got more Money Machines. We got a bunch of Hard Hat Harry. Richard Scarry is highly favorited. Siebert. More kid songs. Let's see. Theodore Tugboat. I think this would be a good, like, bad tape, you know? Like how sometimes we put on a tape that we don't expect is going to be very good so that we can watch 10 minutes of it and get it out of the collection. And sometimes we're pleasantly surprised. Where there's a will, there's an A. How to get better grades in college. Yeah, a lot of good stuff in here. We still have the I don't know how y'all feel about more NASA documentaries, but we have more of those. That box set. It's kind of just an interesting look back in time. First look and entertaining preview of the hottest Christian releases from Family Christian stores. 70 minutes. Excuse me. Looks like it's got some good stuff in there, including more Kirk Franklin. It's a first look at Kirk Franklin's song Church Boy, which I think might be worth watching. That might be a good tape to, like, you know, a new bloopers tape to return to every so often. And, yeah, I still want to watch Pure Danger. I would really like to watch Pure Danger maybe as like a Sunday night movie. But I need to find out if there's nudity in it. Because if there is, that would present an issue. Navy SEALs has been around forever and it's only 25 minutes. But I feel like a lot of our like war content is kind of a downer. So it's not like fan favorite. People are clamoring for it. We do have more. Speaking of movie night, we have In Your Wildest Dreams. We have some other family movies. Jepson is live now. I've just been stalling, but I sincerely do enjoy just looking through the tapes. I hope that's giving you some ideas of the stuff you want to see. If there's stuff you want to see and you haven't favorited it yet, go ahead and favorite it on the website. Let's go, Ray Josh Jepson. Thank you for being here, everybody. Love you. See you Monday. /raid. #TheSeed. Josh Jepson. Get in the van. Thank you, Chase. Wonderful. Yes, have a good weekend, everybody. We'll see you around.
It's gonna get dark soon.
It's gonna get dark soon in Jepson's world. Raid.